Here's every player in the NBA explained. Wemby came into this season looking like he never missed a beat after that scary blood clot situation shut him down last year. The numbers are wild. He's averaging over 30 points a game with nearly 15 rebounds, and he's hitting more than 56% of his shots. That's not just strong, that's what a defender's even supposed to do territory. He's got this mix of power and control that makes him feel like a walking cheat code. His block average, over 4 a game. That's not just leading the league, that's making it look easy. He's back to being the core of their defense, but his offense has taken a whole new leap. He's not just scoring in the paint either. His touch from the outside keeps improving, and his true shooting percentage is around 64, which is just rude for a guy that size. The Spurs are clearly building around him, and honestly, they'd be foolish not to. He's already anchoring both ends, and his early play is why they started the season 5-0. His efficiency, usage, and rebounding rates are up, and his game feels even more fluid than last year. That's saying something for a guy who already made all defensive first team as a rookie. He's moving better, reading plays faster, and just controlling everything on the floor. You can see how his versatility is rewriting expectations. 3-pointers, shot blocking, rebounding, facilitating, it's all there. And now that he's fully healthy again, the main thing left to watch is how long he can keep this pace. LeBron James is now 2 weeks into his 23rd season, and somehow he's still finding new ways to make history, though he's currently dealing with sciatica. After opting into his player option for this year, he became the first NBA player ever to reach 23 seasons. And even though he's 40, he's not here for nostalgia tours. He's still contributing like it's year 10. Coming off a season where he played 70 games, he averaged just over 24 points, nearly 8 rebounds, and more than 8 assists. His shooting splits were solid too, above 51% from the field and just under 38% from deep. He's adding to every record he already owned: regular season points, playoff totals, and now he's closing in on the all-time games played record. He's also within reach of the most field goals made, chasing down Kareem's mark. And this season, his role is still flexible: forward, point forward, whatever they need that night. The Lakers are leaning on his playmaking more than ever, and he's still efficient, still physical, and somehow still a step ahead of defenders who were in grade school when he debuted. But like I mentioned, he's currently dealing with sciatica. The total numbers are absurd: over 42,000 regular season points, over 50,000 total, including playoffs, 11,000 rebounds, 11,000 assists. And even now, he's not slowing down. He's setting the pace for career longevity while staying effective on both ends. At this point, he's not chasing records. They're chasing him. Shea is once again putting defenders through it in the 2026 season. He's averaging about 34 points, nearly 6 assists, and 6 rebounds per game, and he's shooting over 52% from the field. He's doing all this right after winning the scoring title, league MVP, and finals MVP last season. That's a rare combo, and he became only the 4th player in league history to pull it off. Last year, he averaged over 32 points per game on more than 51% shooting, with over 6 assists, 5 rebounds, nearly 2 steals, and a block per game. He led the Thunder to a champion, was named to the All-NBA first team, and then signed a 4-year extension worth about $285 million. That contract made headline, but his play has more than backed it up. This season, he dropped a career-high 55 points in a double overtime win, including 23 made free throws. The very next night, he scored 35 with 30 coming after halftime. His streak of 20-point games hit 80, passing Oscar Robertson for 3rd most in NBA history. He's the cornerstone in Oklahoma City. He's their top scorer, primary ball handler, and backcourt defender. His footwork and timing continue to stand out, and his ability to change speeds makes it nearly impossible to contain him without fouling. His production per 36 minutes stacks up with the league's elite, and he's become one of the most efficient, high-volume guards in the game. With Oklahoma City still rolling and Shea leading the way, the Thunder look like they're built for a long run. He's not just a franchise player, he's putting together a resume that already feels historic, and the numbers keep climbing. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm gonna be posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Nikola Jokic is into his 11th NBA season and still controlling games like he's running a chessboard in sneakers. Last year, he averaged nearly 30 points, over 12 rebounds, and more than 10 assists while shooting close to 58% from the field. That's 70 games of near triple-double production from the center spot, and somehow it's become routine. He made his 7th All-Star appearance last season and dropped 34 triple-doubles along the way. Add it up: points, rebounds, assists, and you get over 2,799 total contributions across those categories. That's not just stuffing stat sheets, that's owning them. He's already won 3 MVPs, a championship, and a finals MVP. His playoff averages are up there with the all-time greats. About 27 points, 12 boards, and almost 8 assists per game. And while his numbers look video game ridiculous, it's all rooted in efficiency. His field goal percentage in 2025 was near 58, and his decision-making rarely misses. This season, he's opened with averages of about 20 points, 14 rebounds, and almost 11 assists per game. He's still the hub for everything Denver does. Their entire offense flows through him, whether he's scoring from the post, whipping passes through tight windows, or reading defenses before they even react. At 30 years old, his production hasn't dipped, and there's no sign of slowing. He's still dominating in every advanced metric that measures impact, usage, efficiency, playmaking, you name it. With his combination of vision, touch, and size, he's still redefining what it means to be a center in today's NBA. He remains the cornerstone in Denver, and as the season unfolds, the question isn't whether he'll be great, it's just how many ways he'll find to do it again. Giannis is bulldozing into the 2026 season with numbers that look like someone forgot to turn the difficulty up. Through the early stretch, he's averaging over 34 points, nearly 14 rebounds, and just above 7 assists per game. And get this, he's shooting over 68% from the field. That kind of efficiency on that kind of volume just doesn't happen unless you're Giannis. Last season, he played 67 games and averaged just above 30 points, with almost 12 rebounds and over 6 assists. He shot over 60% from the field and then ramped it up even more during the playoffs, averaging 33 points and over 15 rebounds across 5 games. No rust, no slowing, just consistent dominance. This year, he already logged a game with 40 points, 14 boards, and 9 dimes in just 33 minutes. That's the kind of thing you expect from a power forward in a video game, not from a real person. His scoring leads the league so far, and the Bucks are still built entirely around him. His size, 6 feet 11 inches, and mobility make him a nightmare. He rebounds like a center, passes like a guard, and finishes like a runaway train. His assist numbers keep climbing, and his playmaking out of transition and double teams has become a real problem for opposing defenses. He's sitting at over 20,000 career points, more than 8,000 rebounds, and over 4,000 assists. The milestones are stacking up, but his focus is clearly still on impact, not accolades. Milwaukee depends on him for literally everything on both ends. And right now, he's delivering across the board, scoring, rebounding, passing, defending. There's no ceiling with him, and the numbers just keep climbing. Steph Curry is still lighting it up in year 17, and he's not coasting through it. He played 70 games last season, averaging just under 25 points with 6 assists and 4 rebounds. His field goal percentage was about 45, and he led the league again in free throw shooting at over 93%. That stroke, still automatic. He crossed 4,000 career three-pointers in March, becoming the first player in league history to do it. He also passed 25,000 regular season points, and even with mileage, he's still producing at a high clip. In the 2025 playoffs, over 8 games, he averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. This season, he already dropped 42 points on Denver, shooting 56% from the field and 50 from 3. Not bad for someone who's 37 and still pulling defenders out to 30 feet. He remains the engine of Golden State's offense, and nothing runs without him touching it. He signed a 1-year extension worth around $62 million, locking him in through the 2027 season. The Warriors clearly still believe in what he brings, and it's not just the shooting. He's the franchise leader in points, threes, and games played. His minutes are managed, but his usage hasn't dipped much. He's still pulling gravity across the floor, forcing defenses to stretch and rotate, and opening lanes for everyone else. His assist numbers show he's still a playmaker too. At 6'2", 185 pounds, he's not overpowering anyone, but he doesn't need to. He's still the best shooter the league's ever seen, and his ability to change momentum with a few quick threes hasn't faded. He's rewriting how longevity looks at the guard spot, and the numbers prove it. Kevin Durant is in year 19 and somehow still scoring like it's year 5. Now with the Houston Rockets, he's averaging around 27 points per game, shooting over 55% from the field. That efficiency is no fluke. He's done it for nearly 2 decades. Even at 37, the jumper's automatic and his scoring rhythm hasn't dipped. Last season with Phoenix, he played 62 games and averaged over 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. He shot nearly 53% from the field and was selected to his 15th All-Star game. Oh, and he casually joined the 30,000-point club last October, becoming just the 8th player in NBA history to do it. Durant's all-time numbers are stacked: over 30,000 points, more than 7,000 rebounds, and nearly 5,000 assists. His career free throw percentage sits around 88, and he's one of only 2 players ever to average 25 points per game while maintaining a true shooting percentage above 60. Now in Houston, he's adjusting to a new roster, but hasn't missed a beat as a scorer. His early assist and rebound numbers are slightly lower than previous seasons, but his shooting touch is as sharp as ever. He remains a top offensive option, and his spacing opens everything for teammates. His ability to score efficiently from anywhere, off the dribble, catch and shoot, mid-range, post, still makes him nearly impossible to guard. He's 7 feet tall, but moves like a wing and shoots like a guard. His role now is simple: anchor the offense, lead by experience, and keep stacking points. Whether the Rockets become contenders or not, Durant's production continues to climb. He's not just chasing legacy anymore. He's extending it with every shot, every game, and every stat that refuses to go down. Luka is in his 8th season and already playing like a veteran who's been dominating forever. After a mid-season trade in February sent him from Dallas to the Lakers, he stepped right into the spotlight in Los Angeles. And so far, in 2026, he's doing what he does best: stuffing box scores. He already dropped 43 points and grabbed 12 rebounds in one of his early games this season. Last year, across 50 games, he averaged 28.2 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 7.7 assists, while shooting 45% from the field. That was split between the Mavericks and the Lakers after that headline-making trade for Anthony Davis, marking the first time 2 active All-NBA players were traded for each other mid-season. Before the move, Luka broke the Mavericks' single-game scoring record with 73 points on January 26. He also became Dallas's all-time leader in triple-doubles. And even with the team change, his production never slowed. He reached over 13,000 career points in under 500 games, a pace most scorers only dream of. He's 6 feet 8 inches and plays as a guard, forward, and pretty much everything else when needed. He controls the ball, dictates tempo, and finds teammates while still scoring at will. His combo of size and playmaking keeps him in the league's top tier. Now with the Lakers, he's positioned as their cornerstone. The ball runs through him, and his offensive workload is massive. His scoring, rebounding, and facilitating all remain elite, and there's no sign he's hitting a ceiling anytime soon. The numbers say he's already elite. Now the Lakers are betting he'll be the one to carry them into the next era. So far, he's holding that weight just fine. Kawhi Leonard is still quietly doing Kawhi things, putting up numbers, locking down opponents, and making it all look weirdly effortless. In the early part of this season, he's averaging about 24 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, while shooting over 51% from the field. He's 34 now, and in his 14th NBA season, but the Clippers still rely on him as their main guy when it counts. Last season, he played 37 games and averaged just over 21 points with almost 6 rebounds and 3 assists. Then in the playoffs, he raised that up to 25 points per game across 7 games with over 7 rebounds and nearly 5 assists. He's not as explosive as he was in his prime, but he's smarter, more efficient, and still a nightmare on defense. So far this season, he's already had a 34-point game with 6 steals and another 30-point performance with a double-double. His true shooting percentage is hovering near 58%, and his overall field goal percentage is just over 51. The production is still there. He just picks his spots more now. Over his career, he's won 2 championships, earned 2 finals MVPs, and grabbed 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. He's also one of the rare wings to combine elite efficiency, strong rebounding, and high-level on-ball defense. And while he's had stretches of missed games due to injuries, when he's on the court, he's one of the most impactful two-way players in the league. His minutes are managed, but the quality is all there. The Clippers still build around his leadership and defensive presence, and so far, he's showing he's still got plenty left to give. Quiet, calculated, and still incredibly effective. Anthony Edwards is entering his 6th season, and the numbers just keep climbing. Last year, he averaged 27.6 points per game, along with 5.7 rebounds and 4.5 assists. His field goal percentage came in at about 45, and he knocked down nearly 40% of his threes. That's over 800 attempts and more than 300 makes. He's not just firing, he's connecting. He played 36 minutes a night and became the clear first option in Minnesota. His free throw percentage was just under 84, and his all-around efficiency took a step forward across the board. He passed 9,000 total career points by the end of the season and added more polish to his game without losing that explosive style. Edwards' career high is 53 points, and he holds the Timberwolves record as the fastest to reach 2,000 points. He's also been selected to multiple All-Star games. It's been all steady progress ever since. Now in 2026, he's still the lead scoring option. Early returns show he's averaging over 25 points in the limited action, and he's continuing to shoot at high volume from deep. His scoring instincts, combined with improved rebounding and passing, give Minnesota a real centerpiece. He was drafted number 1 overall in 2020, and so far, he's lived up to the billing. The Timberwolves gave him a long-term deal to keep him as their guy, and that decision looks better every year. His numbers show a young player already among the league's top scorers, and his development points toward even more. At just 24, he's still rising, and fast. Jalen Brunson's season is already making some serious noise. After averaging 26 points, 7.3 assists, and nearly 3 rebounds last year, he's taken things up a notch. This season, he's sitting around 31 points a night with 5.4 assists and 3.6 boards. That kind of jump doesn't happen by accident. His shooting is still strong too, hovering near 48% from the field. Brunson's always had the footwork and control, but what's changed now is just how often he's controlling everything. His usage rate is about 31%, which basically means the Knicks are running the whole operation through him. That's a lot of trust, and so far, it's paying off. The guy's not just jacking shots either. He's making smart reads and carrying the playmaking load without slowing the tempo. And while he's never been the flashiest guard, he's been one of the most dependable. That 61-point game last season, that wasn't just a random explosion. It's more like a signpost saying, "This is who I am now." He backed it up by winning Clutch Player of the Year for how he closed games all season long. Of course, there's still stuff to clean up. His three-point percentage early this year sitting just over 32%, which leaves some room. And with past ankle injuries floating in the background, keeping him healthy is a huge deal. But if he stays on the court and keeps scoring like this, the Knicks have a serious weapon leading the charge. With that contract number nearly $35 million, they're getting exactly what they paid for. Brunson's not just fitting into his role, he's redefining it. Devin Booker has already put together one of the more consistent scoring careers across the league. Through 10 full seasons, he's racked up over 16,000 points in around 680 games. His scoring average is just below 25 a night, and it's paired with about 5 assists and 4 rebounds. His role hasn't wavered. He's been the guy for Phoenix since the beginning. Last season, he played 75 games and logged more than 37 minutes per night. He averaged 25.6 points, 7.1 assists, and a bit over 4 rebounds. His shooting splits were solid too. He hit over 46% from the field and nearly 89% at the line. His three-point percentage sat around 33, which was a little dip, but the overall efficiency held up. One huge milestone came in February when he passed Walter Davis as the franchise's all-time leading scorer. That's no small feat, considering how long Davis held the top spot. Booker's 70-point game from earlier in his career still stands as his single game high and remains one of the most talked about performances from any active player. Now this season, he's started strong again. He's averaging around 30 points per game with over 6 assists and more than 4 rebounds. His field goal percentage is just above 49%, which is exactly where you want your lead scorer to be. The Suns locked him in over the summer with a massive extension worth $145 million. That'll keep him in Phoenix through the end of the decade. He's carrying a heavy load again, logging huge minutes and running the offense as the top option. Even if the three-point shooting hasn't fully bounced back, the volume and playmaking more than make up for it. Anthony Davis is in year 14 and somehow still finding ways to make his presence felt. After bouncing from the Lakers to the Mavericks last season, he's now anchoring the middle for Dallas. His numbers have dipped slightly early on, averaging about 20.8 points, 10.2 boards, and a couple assists. But his efficiency's been rock solid, shooting just over 52% from the field. Last season, even with only 51 games played, He put up nearly 25 points and grabbed over 11 boards a night. He also averaged more than 3 assists and was named to his 10th All-Star team. That mid-season trade in February flipped everything. He went from the bright lights of Los Angeles to pairing up in a brand new system. That kind of move doesn't come without some adjustment, especially when it's followed by off-season surgery for a detached retina. Yep, the guy had to deal with that too. Still, when Davis is on the court, his impact stays massive. His career numbers, 24 points, 10 rebounds, and over 2 blocks a game, aren't inflated. That's just who he's been for over a decade. He's versatile enough to protect the rim and space out for jumpers when needed, and while his role in Dallas isn't quite the same as before, he's still a defensive anchor and a primary scoring option. He was the #1 overall pick back in 2012, a champion in 2020, and a 10-time All-Star. That resume speaks for itself. The Mavericks will absolutely need his health to hold up, especially with his history. The goal now is consistency, double-doubles, high efficiency, and staying available. If those things happen, Davis will keep giving Dallas a shot at contending. Donovan Mitchell's start to this season looks like he's trying to remind everyone exactly who he is. He's averaging 28 points per game while shooting over 54% from the field. That's not a typo. He's also dishing out around 4.5 assists and grabbing just over 2 rebounds. The scoring volume is back up, and that efficiency bump is hard to ignore. Last season, he appeared in 71 games and put up 24 points a night, along with 5 assists and 4.5 boards. He also earned his 6th All-Star selection and dropped 48 in one of his high-scoring games. But that was just the regular stuff. The real moment everyone still talks about is that 71-point night back in January of 2023. He had 8 rebounds and 11 assists in that game. That's not just a scoring explosion, it's one of the best all-around offensive games the league's seen. Cleveland locked him in with a new deal this past summer. 3 years, $150 million with a player option. That says a lot about how much they're building around him. Since coming over from Utah in 2022, he's been the centerpiece for the Cavaliers. Through his career, Mitchell has averaged nearly 25 points a game with just under 5 assists and 4 rebounds. The numbers have been consistent, even while the roles have shifted slightly between scorer and playmaker. The three-point shot has come and gone at times, but his ability to get buckets at all 3 levels keeps him dangerous. The main thing now is staying healthy and keeping that shot percentage high. If he keeps this up, Cleveland's got a real shot to make noise in the East. With him leading the charge, Cade Cunningham's rise has been steady, and now he's right at the center of everything Detroit's trying to build. Coming off his first All-Star selection last season, he averaged 26.1 points, 9.1 assists, and 6.1 rebounds across 70 games. That kind of stat line isn't just good. It put him in rare company among players his age. It also earned him a massive extension over the summer, locking him in for 5 more years at over $220 million. So far this season, the numbers are still solid. He's around 24.5 points, 9.5 assists, and over 5 boards per game. The playmaking is holding strong, but the efficiency's dipped a bit. His field goal percentage has floated down to the low 40s, which is definitely something to keep an eye on. But it's not uncommon for young, high-usage guards adjusting to even more defensive pressure. What stood out are the flashes, like that 30-point triple-double against Orlando or the 34-10 game against Brooklyn. Those are the games that show why Detroit's all in on him. He's still running the offense as the lead ball handler and primary scorer. They've built everything around him, and he's taken on that responsibility without blinking. At 6 feet 6 inches, playing point guard, he's got a size advantage. Most guys at his position don't. He's not just initiating plays, he's reading the floor like a vet, hitting angles most players don't even see yet. If his shooting numbers bounce back, that'll only sharpen the impact he's already having. For now, Detroit's hope still rides on his shoulders, and he's showing he's got the control and vision to carry it. Jason Tatum was rolling through another big season before things took a tough turn. He played 72 games last year, averaging 26.8 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. His shooting sat at about 45% from the field, and he made his 6th straight All-Star appearance. In February, he dropped 46 points with 16 boards, 9 assists, and 3 blocks in a single game, probably his loudest stat line of the year. He finished the season ranked 5th in the league in scoring and broke the Celtics' franchise record for 3-pointers made in a season. The production was right in line with what he's been doing for a while now. His 8th season in, and the numbers keep stacking up. Through 585 regular season games, he's already passed 13,000 points, over 4,000 rebounds, and more than 2,000 assists. But then came the injury. During the playoffs, he suffered a ruptured Achilles and had surgery. That's a major setback, and as the new season starts, it's unclear when he'll be back at full strength. His role hasn't changed though. He's still the main piece for Boston. The scoring, the rebounding, the playmaking, all of it runs through him. He was the third pick in the 2017 draft and has grown into one of the league's most productive forwards. His playoff stats are also solid. He's played in over 120 playoff games and scored nearly 3,000 total points. The challenge now is all about recovery. He set a high bar for himself, and if he gets back to form, Boston will still have its star leading the way. But for now, all eyes are on the comeback. Zion Williamson has always been a force when he's on the floor. That's never been the issue. This season, he's averaging about 23.5 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. The field goal percentage, though, is down, sitting around 48.4%, which is low for someone who's usually living at the rim. And right now, he's sidelined, this time with a hamstring strain that's already taken him off the court in early November. Last season, he played just 30 games, but still managed 24.6 points, 7.2 rebounds, and over 5.3 assists per game, while shooting nearly 56.7%. The talent's never been in doubt. The pattern's just been frustrating. When he plays, he puts up numbers that are hard to match, but the injury history keeps making his availability the headline. Looking back at the 2021 season, he averaged 27 points on over 61.1% shooting. And the playmaking has come a long way too. He's jumped from barely 2.1 assists as a rookie to over 5 assists per game. Last year, that's a pretty clear sign. The offense is increasingly flowing through him. He's still the centerpiece in New Orleans. No question. They drafted him first overall in 2019 and built around his rare combo of power, speed, and vertical explosiveness. But with the Pelicans off to a 0-6 start, his absence is once again magnified. The question is never whether he can produce, it's how long he can stay out there doing it. Physically, he's one of one. But the drop in efficiency early this season and another minor injury are reminders that the Pelicans' success depends on more than just his highlight plays. They need him available, and they need that shooting percentage climbing. Again, Damian Lillard's career has been built on volume, range, and control. Before the setbacks, he was still producing like one of the league's best scoring guards. In the 2024-25 season, he played 58 games for Milwaukee and averaged 24.9 points, 7.1 assists, and 4.7 rebounds per game. His shooting splits were solid too. He hit around 44.8% from the field, 37.6% from three, and an elite 92.1% from the free throw line. But his season didn't end on his own terms. In March, he was diagnosed with deep vein thrombosis in his right calf. Then in April, he tore his left Achilles during the playoff. That combo sidelined him and cast serious doubt on what this next chapter would look like. This summer, he finalized a return to Portland on a new 3-year deal worth about $42 million, including a player option for the final year. Before the injury, Lillard had put together one of the strongest resumes among modern guards. Over 22,000 career points, more than 2,800 career three-pointers made, and an average of over 25 points per game across more than 900 regular season appearances. He's also a member of the league's 75th anniversary team. At 6 feet 2 inches, Lillard has carved out a legacy with scoring, range, and late-game shot-making. He's Portland's all-time leader in points and threes, but now the focus is on how he returns, physically and role-wise. If he can regain rhythm and stay healthy, he'll still be a threat. But with the Achilles tear and past blood clot issue, this season feels more like a test than a continuation. Jalen Williams heads into this season with championship credentials and all-star recognition already under his belt. Last year, in his third NBA season, he averaged 21.6 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.1 assists across 69 games. He shot around 48.4% from the field and continued building out his role as a playmaker, not just a scorer. That breakout earned him his first All-Star selection and a key spot in Oklahoma City's title run. In the 2025 NBA Finals, Williams went off for 40 points in Game 5 against Indiana, helping the Thunder clinch the championship. That moment didn't just cap a great season. It made it clear he's part of the franchise's foundation. The team followed that up by giving him a new contract, reportedly worth over $287 million, securing him through the prime of his career. His career numbers through 3 full seasons are strong, averaging around 18.1 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game. And his shooting has been efficient from the start. Back in his rookie season, he shot over 52% from the field. He's maintained strong scoring while growing as a passer and rebounder, showing off his versatility every step of the way. Now, to open the new season, he's sidelined after undergoing wrist surgery in the offseason. That recovery has delayed his debut, and there's no confirmed return date yet. But once he's back, he'll rejoin a loaded Oklahoma City squad with sky-high expectations. He plays all over the floor, defends, scores, passes, and rebounds. The only thing left is to see how fast he can return to form and how far he'll go now that he's already got a ring. Joel Embiid's numbers still say superstar, but his availability is starting to become the louder part of the story. In the 2024-25 season, he played just 19 games, averaging 23.8 points, 8.2 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. His shooting dropped off to about 44.4% from the field. That came in a year where Philadelphia finished with just 24 wins, landing at the bottom of their conference. Before that, he was on a tear. He won the scoring title and league MVP in the 2022-23 season, averaging 33.1 points per game. In the following year, he averaged over 34 points across 39 games before the knee issues kicked in. His career numbers still hover around 27.6 points, 11 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game, but that availability piece keeps shrinking. The Sixers gave him a 3-year extension worth $193 million in September of 2024, which shows their commitment. But by February 28th of last season, he was officially ruled out for the year with knee issue. And so far, in the 2025-26 season, he's missed games again. His early stats show about 17.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game, with a field goal percentage near 46%. He's still the franchise's top rebounder all time, and the first center since the NBA and ABA merger to average at least 27 points and 13 rebounds in a season. But with back-to-back short campaigns and continued out designations, the real question isn't what he can do, it's how often we'll get to see him do it. Josh Giddey's role in Chicago has expanded fast, and the numbers show exactly why. Early this season, he's averaging around 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists per game. That includes a monster line against Philadelphia, where he dropped 29 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, and handed out 12 assists in a 2-point win. He's gone from complimentary guard to full-on offensive engine. Last year, in his first full season with the Bulls, Giddey averaged about 14.6 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 7.2 assists per game. His 3-point percentage jumped to roughly 37.8, a massive leap from earlier seasons. That development made his 4-year, $100 million extension in September look like a smart bet by Chicago. Giddey's career path started in Oklahoma City after being drafted 6th overall in 2021. He made history early, becoming the youngest player ever to record a triple-double. Through about 280 games, his averages sit around 14.1 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. But now in year 5, he's clearly stepping into another tier. At 6 feet 7 inches, he uses his size to rebound over smaller guards and create mismatches as a playmaker. He's a rare player who can run the offense, hit the glass, and now space the floor too. With the Bulls looking for a new identity, Giddey's been handed the keys. The next step is turning those stat lines into wins and postseason relevance. If the 3-point shot holds and the defense comes along, he won't just be filling up the box score, he'll be leading the charge. Morant's journey from Murray State to becoming one of the league's most dynamic point guards has been nothing short of explosive. Drafted 2nd overall in 2019 by Memphis, he burst into the spotlight with that Rookie of the Year campaign. Since then, he's stacked up over 7,000 career points and earned a pair of All-Star nods. He's been a walking highlight reel, averaging around 22 points and over 7 assists a night through his career. Last season, he played 50 games, finishing with 23.2 points and 7.3 assists per game. His shooting hovered around 45%. In the playoffs, though the sample was small, his numbers dipped to 18.3 points with 5 assists. This season, he's been putting up about 20.8 points and 6.7 assists. But the early weeks have brought tension. Head coach Thomas Isolo called him out after a loss, and Morant fired back, pointing at constant substitutions as a major issue. His minutes are down, his usage is lower, and his field goal percentage has dropped to around 40%. That locker room clash reportedly ended, with several teammates siding with Morant. Off the court, the story's just as messy. Past Isle, suspensions for gun-related incidents and fines for gestures have left the franchise walking a tightrope. The front office hasn't said he's on the block, but speculation's swirling, especially after the firing of Taylor Jenkins, who had strong ties to Morant. The new offense under Isolo pulls the ball out of Morant's hands more, and it's clearly not sitting well. Whether Memphis sticks with him or starts exploring options is the storyline everyone's watching. Tyrese Halliburton entered the league as the 12th overall pick in the 2020 draft, and since then, he's carved out a spot among the most productive point guards in the game. After a standout run with Iowa State, he started with the Kings before finding his stride in Indiana. At 6 feet 5 inches, he brings size, vision, and efficiency. During the 2024-25 season, he averaged 18.6 points, 9.2 assists, and 3.5 rebounds over 73 games. He shot about 47% from the field and nearly 39% from deep. His playmaking hit another level in the postseason. In a conference finals game against New York, he had 32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, and no turnovers, a first in playoff history. That type of stat line helped him land on the All-NBA third team. But right when things were peaking, disaster struck. In Game 7 of the finals, he tore his right Achilles tendon. The injury required surgery, and now he's set to miss the entire 2025-26 season. That absence changes everything. His assist numbers ranked among the league's best, and his turnover rate was impressively low for someone with the ball in his hands constantly. Advanced metrics showed his efficiency held up under high usage, and his true shooting percentage had topped 60% in past seasons. His play was central to Indiana's success, and now the Pacers have to figure out how to replace that level of production. The big question is how he'll recover. Achilles injuries can be brutal, especially for players who rely on bursts and quick cuts. The hope is his game adjusts, and his feel for the floor keeps him at the top. Kyrie came into the league as the first overall pick in 2011, and he's built a career that's been part highlight reel, part headline fact. Out of Duke, he won Rookie of the Year in his first season, and just a few years later, hit one of the most iconic shots in finals history to help Cleveland win the title in 2016. With 9 All-Star selections and a 60-point game under his belt, he's checked just about every box when it comes to star-level accolades. Last season in Dallas, he played 50 games and averaged 24.7 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. He shot 47.3% from the field, over 40% from deep, and more than 91% at the line. That efficiency kept him in the conversation as one of the league's top scorers. Over the last 5 years, he's averaged more than 26 points across 251 games. But the season ended rough. In March, he tore his left ACL, which sidelined him for the rest of the year. That injury throws his 2025-26 season into serious doubt. He's recovering, but the Mavericks are facing a lot of uncertainty around his return. Even so, he reportedly declined his player option and is expected to sign a 3-year deal worth around $119 million to stay in Dallas, with a player option for the 2027-28 season. Career-wise, he's racked up over 18,000 points and shot nearly 40% from beyond the arc. When healthy, he's one of the smoothest offensive guards out there. But for now, everything hinges on how quickly and effectively that knee heals. Jimmy Butler was drafted 30th overall in 2011, and since then, he's built one of the grittiest resumes in the league. Coming out of Marquette, he wasn't seen as a sure thing, but that changed fast. He's now a 6-time All-Star, a multiple-time All-NBA selection, and one of the best two-way wings of his generation. He's played in 876 regular season games, averaging around 18.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. He never got that championship ring, but he's racked up deep playoff runs with Chicago, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Miami, and now Golden State. With the Heat alone, he posted over 21 points per game across more than 300 games. In the 2024-25 season, He played 55 games, averaging 17.5 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 5.4 assists. His shooting stayed efficient at around 50%. Mid-season, he was traded to the Warriors, where he's taken on a leadership-heavy role. Early this season, he's putting up 22 points a night on around 43% shooting, along with a slight drop in rebounds and assists. At 36 years old, he's still logging major minutes and staying productive, even if the explosiveness isn't what it used to be. Career-wise, his win-loss record is strong, sitting around 523 wins to 346 losses. His game's always been about toughness, mid-range scoring, post-ups, and elite perimeter defense. With Golden State, he's expected to complement stars and help groom younger players. What's next depends on how well he holds up physically. His role might shrink, but the impact could still stay big. He's a different kind of star, one who makes winning plays without needing the spotlight every possession. Paolo Banchero is the face of Orlando's future. At 6 feet 10 inches and 250 pounds, he's got that rare blend of strength and finesse that makes him tough to guard. Coming out of Duke, he was an instant impact rookie, winning Rookie of the Year in 2023 and earning his first All-Star nod the following season. Through his first 3 years, he's averaged about 22 points, 7 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists per game. Last season, he made another leap, putting up 25.9 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 4.8 assists a night. He also had that monster 50-point game with 13 rebounds and 9 assists. His shooting hovered around 45%, and even with a torn oblique that cost him 34 games, he still finished among the league's top young scorers. In the playoffs, he averaged 28 points, 8.5 rebounds, and just over 4 assists in 12 games, showing he's built for the big stage. This summer, he locked in a 5-year extension worth up to $239 million, with incentives that could push it near $287 million. Early this season, he's been putting up around 23 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game. The big test for him now is staying healthy and keeping that efficiency steady while carrying more of the offense. At just 23 years old, he's already joining names like Shaquille O'Neal and Tracy McGrady in Orlando's record book. If his trajectory keeps climbing, the Magic might have their cornerstone star for the next decade. Austin Reeves is doing what most undrafted players only daydream about while stretching their G League jerseys in front of a mirror. After signing with the Lakers back in 2021, he's turned into a full-time starter and somehow a central piece of their offense. He's listed at 6 feet 5 inches, but right now, he's playing like he's 7 feet tall and dipped in confidence. Last season wasn't some fluke. He averaged over 20 points, almost 6 assists, and grabbed nearly 5 rebounds per game across 73 outings. Now fast forward to this season, and yeah, things have gone up several notches. He's putting up around 32 points, 9 assists, and over 5 rebounds a night. His field goal percentage is sitting just above 50%, which means he's not just chucking, he's converting. Then came the Sacramento game, 51 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. If he had blinked less, he might have gotten that triple-double. What's wild is how natural he looks creating for others while scoring in bunches. That passing uptick's been real, and you can tell the Lakers are leaning into it. No, he's not perfect. There's still the question of whether he can stretch the floor more consistently from deep. And with his usage going way up, the turnovers need to stay down. But his role has grown alongside the team's shifting structure. Health-wise, he's fine so far, which is good because they clearly need him. From Wichita State to Oklahoma to Los Angeles, this arc isn't just about improvement. It's about staying relevant on a team still built around stars. The real test will be how the Lakers perform with Reeves, playing this kind of role every night. Sabonis has made a habit of putting up stat lines that look like someone mashed buttons on a calculator. Coming off a strong season with Sacramento, he averaged just over 19 points, nearly 14 rebounds, and 6 assists per game across 70 appearances. He led the entire league in boards per game and shot nearly 60% from the field, which sounds like a typo, but unfortunately for defenders, it's real. Right now, he's averaging around 15 points, almost 14 rebounds, and just under 4 assists. So yeah, his scoring's dipped a bit, but he's still vacuuming rebounds like there's a bonus check taped to the rim. And even though his field goal percentage is down to roughly 52%, he's still one of the most efficient bigs in the game. Let's not forget, this guy was picked 11th back in the 2016 draft, played at Gonzaga, and has that Hall of Fame pedigree, thanks to his dad, Arvida. So yeah, it's not some overnight story. It's been building for a while. Health-wise, there was that hamstring issue in March. Grade 1 strain, nothing career-threatening, but something worth watching. The guy's already in year 10, and even though he's still moving well, those miles add up, especially for a big man who plays physical and gets beat up down low. Still, his game's not all brute force. He racks up assists like a point guard stuck in a center's body, and when he's running the offense from the high post, the whole team moves better. As long as he stays healthy and keeps the turnovers in check, he'll stay right in that upper tier of versatile forward. There aren't many players who can combine rebounding, scoring, and passing like that without making it look forced. LaMelo Ball has turned into that oversized guard who plays like he's got a joystick wired into the court. At 6 feet 7 inches, he sees everything. And right now, he's averaging nearly 10 assists per game while pulling in almost 8 rebounds. That passing leap isn't subtle, and it's clearly part of Charlotte's plan to run everything through him. Last season, he only played in 47 games thanks to ankle and wrist issues. But when he was out there, he averaged over 25 points, almost 5 boards, and more than 7 assists. His shooting, though, not ideal. He hovered around 40% from the field, and that's still one part of his game that drags behind the flash. This season, early numbers show improvement. His field goal percentage is sitting around 43, and his scoring's dipped slightly to about 23 points, but those assist numbers are way up. He's also grabbing more rebounds than ever, which means he's not waiting around for the action. He's jumping straight into it. That injury from March matters, though. It shut him down for the season and included a minor procedure. Nothing long-term, but with his high usage rate, durability is going to stay a concern. He's the centerpiece of Charlotte's rebuild, whether that's thrilling or terrifying. What makes his game stand out is how many roles he plays at once. He's the initiator, the scorer, and the lead decision maker. That blend of size and court vision isn't common, and the Hornets are definitely betting on it long-term. He's still young, but the time for progress is now. If the efficiency rises and the injuries fade out, the numbers are already lining up like someone programmed them in career mode. Tyrese Maxey is not just stepping into the spotlight. He's kicking the door open and yelling his stats into the raft. After being drafted 21st overall back in 2020, the former Kentucky guard is now putting up numbers like he's allergic to passing up a shot. Last season, he averaged over 26 points, more than 6 assists, and around 3 rebounds in 52 games. That run ended early, thanks to a finger injury, but it didn't slow him down heading into this season. Right now, he's averaging over 35 points and nearly 10 assists with around 5 boards. That's not a typo. His field goal percentage is up too, hovering around 46%. The jumper's cleaner, the drives are sharper, and the decisions are quicker. The Sixers aren't just giving him the ball, they're letting him dictate the pace, tempo, and personality of the offense. Let's not forget, Maxey picked up the Most Improved Player award just 1 season ago. It's not like this came out of nowhere. His scoring's been climbing for years. Now it's hitting a level where defenses are either doubling him or praying he forgets the shot clock. He's still just 25, but already playing like a top-tier guard. The real development isn't just the points, it's the control. The way he handles pick and rolls, threads passes through traffic, and draws fouls shows he's not just playing fast, he's playing smart. Health is the only cloud over this forecast. That sprained finger shut things down last year, and durability will matter with this kind of usage. But if he stays on the floor, the numbers are going to keep piling up. Maxey isn't just keeping Philly competitive, he's changing the whole math on what their ceiling looks like. Trae Young isn't exactly easing into the season, he's limping into it. After leading the entire league in assists last year with over 11 per game, he opened this one with numbers that look more human than usual. He's averaging just under 18 points and close to 8 assists, while shooting a shade over 37% from the field. Not great, not terrible, just a noticeable drop. And then the knee happened. A right MCL sprain knocked him out early, and he's expected to miss at least 4 weeks. For a guy who's the engine of everything Atlanta does, that's more than a minor hiccup. He's still the team's primary creator, but right now, that creation is coming from the bench. Last season told a different story. He averaged over 24 points, dished out nearly 12 assists, and played in 76 games. That stretch included breaking the Hawks franchise record for total assists in a season. He's always had the green light, and he's always used it like there's no other color. Efficiency's been a sticking point for years. He shot around 41% last season, and so far, it's dipped even lower. That wouldn't matter as much if the three ball was falling, but it hasn't exactly been automatic either. Still, his impact is obvious. He's already made 4 All-Star teams, and he grabbed an All-NBA spot a few seasons ago. Despite the inefficiency, the passing numbers and control over the offense keep him relevant. He's not the biggest or the fastest, but the way he manipulates defenders and orchestrates plays is rare. When he returns, the real question is whether the Hawks can get back to running at his pace, or if the wheels start to wobble under all that usage. James Harden is still elite. After 17 seasons, he's still out there racking up assists, pulling defenders into orbit, and getting buckets with that slow motion confidence he's had since Arizona State. Last year, with the Clippers, he played in 79 games and averaged over 22 points, close to 9 assists, and nearly 6 rebounds. The efficiency wasn't amazing, just over 41% from the field, but that's kind of been par for the course lately. He passed 27,000 points, cracked the top 15 all-time scores, and moved past a few Hall of Famers in the process. This is what happens when you score relentlessly for nearly 2 decades. He also hit 35% from deep, showing he's still capable of spacing the floor, even if the first step isn't what it used to be. This summer, Harden declined his player option and signed a fresh 2-year deal worth around $81 million. Yes, he's 36 now, but that contract says the Clippers still trust him to drive the offense, and he's still doing that. His assist totals keep him near the top of the league's best facilitators. The turnovers have always been there, but that's baked into how often he touches the ball. He controls the tempo, reads coverages like a quarterback, and still finds open teammates at a ridiculous clip. No championship ring yet, but the resume is already stacked. He's got over 11 All-Star selections, an MVP award, and scoring title. But now he's clearly in the veteran phase. The legs may be slower, but the mind's as sharp as ever. And as long as the Clippers keep putting the ball in his hands, he's going to keep pulling the string. Bam continues to be the Heat's go-to guy when they need muscle, movement, and mid-range buckets all wrapped in one. Last season, he played 78 games and averaged just over 18 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and over 4 assists. That assist number's not a typo. It's one of the things that makes his game stand out. A big man running offense? Welcome to Miami. Right now, he's averaging around 23 points, over 9 rebounds, and just under 3 assists per game. The scoring bump is real, but his field goal percentage has dipped to about 43%. That might be a role adjustment, or maybe he's just settling for shots he didn't used to take. Either way, he's still a huge part of what they do. He had a minor knee contusion in preseason, but apparently he feels fine, which is good, because when he's off the court, the Heat start looking like a car missing its engine. His defense is a problem for just about everyone, and that versatility lets Miami switch everything without breaking a sweat. He's been all defensive first team, and he's finished in Defensive Player of the Year voting, which says a lot about how coaches and players see him. He's not just strong, he's smart, and his reads on both ends keep the Heat organized. Drafted 14th overall in 2017, Bam's become the full package front court leader, rebounding, defense, playmaking, and now an expanded scoring role. That's not easy to find. If he brings the efficiency back up and stays healthy, there's no question he'll keep anchoring this team on both sides of the floor. For Miami, it's simple. When Bam's doing everything, everything works better. Karl Anthony Towns made the move to New York before last season and didn't waste time making an impact. He averaged over 24 points, nearly 13 rebounds, and just above 3 assists across 72 games for the Knicks. His field goal percentage sat at about 52%, and he was selected to his 5th All-Star game. And then there's that 62-point game from January 22nd. That wasn't just volume, it was domination. He's always had touch and shooting range for a big, but that game shoved it into the spotlight again. His ability to score off drives, spot-ups, and post-ups makes him a nightmare for slower defenders and smaller ones alike. So far this season, the rebounds are still there, over 12 a night, but his scoring has taken a step back. That might be early season rust, or it could be him adjusting to a slightly different offensive role. Either way, the Knicks still rely on him to space the floor and pull down boards. Injuries have always been part of the conversation with Town. In the last playoff, he dealt with a bruised knee and ligament issues in his finger. Nothing major, but enough to raise questions about how much physical wear he can handle. Still, his production holds up. He's 7 feet tall, can shoot, rebound, and pass, and he's one of the few centers who doesn't look out of place when the game speeds up. Whether he fully adapts to the Knicks system or not, he's going to keep putting up numbers that are hard to ignore. Amen Thompson is already making noise as one of the Rockets' most important young pieces. Drafted 4th overall in 2023, he's now stepping into that role where the numbers and the film both back up the hype. He's listed at 6 feet 7 inches with a 200-pound frame, and he moves like a guard trapped in a wing's body. Across his first 2 seasons, he's averaged around 12 points, over 7 rebounds, and just over 3 assists per game. Not bad for someone still figuring out NBA pace. Last season was the big leap. He earned a spot on the all-defensive first team, which almost never happens that early in a career. That kind of recognition tells you everything about his impact without needing a stat sheet. Opponents shot worse when he guarded them, and coaches trusted him to switch onto pretty much anyone. This year, the offense is starting to catch up. He dropped 28 points, 10 boards, and 7 assists in a game against Memphis just days ago. That kind of all-around line shows the direction he's headed. The only knocks right now are small things. His 3-point shot still needs polish, and he's had some light injuries like calf cramps and ankle tweaks that slowed his minutes. But the upside's loud. He can rebound, create, defend, and push the pace in transition. His handle looks more confident, and his passing reads have sharpened. The Rockets are clearly building around him and a few others, and so far, he's earning that trust. If the jump shot comes along and he stays healthy, he's going to be one of the most unique and dangerous wings in the league, someone who can tilt both ends of the floor without needing the ball all the time. Julius Randle is wasting no time, showing exactly why they gave him a 3-year deal worth $100 million. He's averaging over 27 points, more than 6 rebounds, and just above 5 assists, while shooting a career-best 56% from the field. That's a huge jump from last season's efficiency, and it's not just hot shooting, it's smarter, more decisive offense. Last season with the Timberwolves, he played 69 games and averaged almost 19 points, over 7 boards, and nearly 5 assists. He dealt with a groin strain in February that knocked him out for a bit, but he returned in time to help push Minnesota deep into the playoff. During the second-round series against Golden State, he went off, averaging over 25 points and more than 7 assists. That kind of production on that stage silenced a lot of noise. Before the trade, Randle had already built a strong resume. He's a 3-time All-Star, won Most Improved back in 2021, and once dropped 57 in a game at the Garden. But now his role shifted. He's not just the guy getting buckets. He's also setting up teammates and carrying stretches of the offense while Anthony Edwards gets his. He's 6 feet 9 inches, weighs around 250 pounds, and brings physicality inside with a face-up game that keeps defenders guessing. His passing out of double teams has sharpened, and when he attacks downhill, it opens up the floor for Minnesota's wings. Injuries have popped up over the years, but right now, he looks locked in. If he keeps this pace, there's a real shot we're talking about, another All-Star nod, and maybe more by mid-season. The Timberwolves are betting big, and so far, he's delivering. Jaylen Brown is putting up numbers that look like they were built in a lab somewhere in Massachusetts. After locking in a massive Supermax deal and winning a title with Finals MVP honors, he's entered this season with something to prove. Again, so far, he's averaging around 25 points, nearly 5 rebounds, and just over 4 assists, while shooting nearly 54% from the field. That kind of efficiency, paired with that kind of volume, that's not just hot, it's sustainable if the trend holds. Last season, he played in 63 games and put up over 22 points, almost 6 boards, and 4.5 assists, while shooting around 46%. His true shooting percentage cracked into the low 60s, which put him among the league's more efficient wings, not just scorers, but actual wing creator. He had a 44-point night in December and followed that up with a postseason run that cemented his place in Celtics history. This year, he's already had a couple of huge outings, including a 51-point explosion where he hit 12 threes. He looks sharper, quicker, and more confident with the ball. That's especially encouraging considering he had knee surgery back in June to clean up a torn meniscus. He was ready for training camp and hasn't missed a step. He's listed at 6 feet 6 inches, 223 pounds, and plays both ends like he's still trying to prove something. Defensively, he switches across multiple positions. And offensively, he's become more than just a scorer. He's initiating, passing, and even rebounding above his career average. With Boston adjusting around him, Brown looks ready to carry more responsibility. If the knees hold up and the percentages stay where they are, this season could be another career-defining one. Thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring this video. Basketball's officially back, and every night feels like a highlight waiting to happen. If you love watching hoops, there's no better way to stay involved in the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook. Here's the offer. New customers bet $5 and get $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets, plus get 3 months of NBA League Pass no matter what. That means you're catching every dunk, clutch shot, and overtime thriller, even if your first bet doesn't hit. Just sign up using promo code HOOPSEXPLAINED. Make that first $5 bet, and you're in. It's that easy. You'll get to watch games live and use your bonus bets on any upcoming matchups you want. DraftKings makes betting simple and exciting. You can go live mid-game, follow every score in real time, or build same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. And with League Pass included, you'll never miss the moments everyone's talking about the next day. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up using promo code HOOPSEXPLAINED, and start playing today. New customers bet $5 and get $300 if your bet wins, plus 3 months of NBA League Pass no matter what. Pascal proved that being picked 27th overall doesn't mean you're supposed to stay quiet. He's now a cornerstone for the Pacers, and coming off the kind of season that changes how teams look at a player long term. Last year, he played 78 games, averaged just over 20 points, nearly 7 rebounds, and over 3 assists, while shooting nearly 52% from the field. Those are sturdy numbers, but what came after made the noise. In the playoffs, he averaged just over 20 points again, stayed consistent on the glass, and then went ahead and won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He dropped 31 points in the closeout game against the Knicks, helping send Indiana to their first finals since the turn of the century. That led to a 4-year contract worth nearly $189 million. That's not a solid contributor contract. So far this season, he's responding. He's averaging around 25 points, 9 boards, and almost 5 assists. That kind of production from a forward who plays on both ends of the court makes him one of the most valuable two-way players in the league. And that field goal percentage, still holding strong. At 6 feet 8 inches and 245 pounds, he plays fast, can switch defensively, and create his own shot without bogging down the offense. The only real question left is whether he can keep this production going for a full season while staying healthy. Indiana's betting big on him. And so far, it looks like the right move. He's not just part of the Pacers' plan. He's at the center of it. That finals run didn't look like a fluke, and neither does this start. DeMar is in his 17th NBA season, and remarkably, still giving you over 20 points a night. At age 36, playing for the Sacramento Kings, he continues to prove that polished footwork, a deadly mid-range game, and elite basketball IQ can still shine in today's three-point heavy league. Last season, DeMar averaged 22.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 4.4 assists across 77 games, shooting approximately 47.7% from the field. On March 20th, 2025, he became just the 27th player in NBA history to score 25,000 career points, a major milestone for any scorer. He joined the Kings in July 2024 via a sign and trade deal, signing a reported 3-year, $74 million contract. Not a retirement tour deal, but a serious commitment to his production and leadership. And early in the 2025-2026 season, he's averaging roughly 20.7 points, 4.8 assists, and 4.3 rebounds per game, while shooting just over 50% from the floor. On November 1st, he dropped 29 points in a win over the Bucks, hitting 10 of 19 shots. DeMar's style hasn't changed much. He still thrives in the mid-range, doesn't rely on threes, gets to the free throw line, and delivers clutch shots with consistency. He remains one of the last high-volume mid-range scorers in the league, a throwback who makes it work in the modern era. DeMar isn't just a scorer. He's a veteran presence and leader on a team with playoff ambitions. The question isn't whether he can still produce. The stats prove he can. The real question is how long he can maintain this level of play. If his durability holds up, the Kings may have just the right mix of young talent and experienced firepower to make real noise in the Western Conference. Evan Mobley is only 24 years old, and he's already the reigning Defensive Player of the Year and an All-Star. In just 4 NBA seasons, Mobley has gone from a top 3 draft pick to one of the league's most dominant two-way bigs. In the 2024 to 2025 season, he played in 71 games and averaged 18.5 points, 9.3 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1.6 blocks per game. He shot 55.7% from the field. He ranked 5th in the league in blocks per game and was among the leaders in contested shots, showcasing his elite interior defense. On April 24, 2025, Mobley was officially named the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year, becoming the first Cleveland Cavalier to ever win the award. That same season, he made his first NBA All-Star appearance and helped lead the Cavaliers to a franchise-best 64 wins, the top record in the Eastern Conference. Offensively, he continues to evolve. He had a breakout game on December 7, 2024, scoring 41 points, grabbing 10 rebounds, and hitting 6 of 8 from three-point range, a clear sign his shooting is expanding. Mobley is averaging just over 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, with improved scoring versatility. He remains under contract with Cleveland and is firmly viewed as a franchise cornerstone. Jamal Murray's been carving up defenses like he's got a map and compass. His scorings jumped to around 26 points per game on over 50% shooting, which is wild for a guard. He's also pulling down nearly 5 boards and handing out over 5 assists a night. So yeah, the guy's busy. He's not just chucking shots either. His efficiency has taken a step up, and that's with an even higher volume than before. Last season, he played 67 games and averaged just over 21 points. He was on the court more too, logging the most minutes of his career. His three-point shot was falling at around 39%, and it showed. There were nights where he straight up caught fire and carried Denver through. Let's not forget that massive 55-point game. Earlier this year, that wasn't just a career high. It broke the single game scoring record for any Canadian player ever. That performance alone basically confirmed what everyone already knew. When Murray gets hot, he's got the kind of ceiling that breaks stuff. He also signed a huge 4-year deal worth over $200 million. So Denver's clearly all in on. And honestly, his clutch playoff track record makes that make sense. The guy's already got a ring from 2 years ago, and he's been one of the most consistent postseason performers on that squad. What makes Murray different is how he balances scoring and playmaking. He doesn't just look for his own shot, he sets up teammates and keeps the offense moving. If he stays healthy and keeps trending like this, Denver's got exactly the kind of backcourt engine you need when games start to actually matter. Jaren Jackson Jr. has become one of the most versatile big men in the league, and he's doing it his way. Last season, he averaged over 22 points with a field goal percentage just shy of 49. That kind of scoring from a forward-center hybrid is a serious asset, but what makes it pop is the three-point shooting. He hit nearly 38% from deep. That stretchability forces defense to actually move, which some teams still struggle with. Defensively, he's been a force for years. In 2023, he grabbed the Defensive Player of the Year award, and he hasn't really slowed down since. He averaged about 1.5 blocks last season and finished the year ranked 7th in franchise history for blocks and rebounds. Considering how young he still is, that says a lot. This season started a little slower due to an off-season foot procedure, but he's already back on the court. His early numbers show around 17 points and 5 rebounds with over 52% shooting. That percentage jump is nice to see, especially if he keeps adding more efficient shots to his game. The Grizzlies clearly see him as a cornerstone. They've already lined up a 5-year extension worth about $240 million. That includes a player option at the end, just in case he decides to go full boss mode later. With 2 All-Star selections already on the resume and one of the more well-rounded two-way profiles among big men, Jackson fits the mold of a modern forward. He protects the rim, knocks down threes, and doesn't need to dominate the ball to make his presence felt. Memphis has locked him in, and now it's about how far he can help take them. Denny Adviu came into the league as a high IQ forward with flashes of versatility, but now he's turning those flashes into full-on spotlight. After getting traded to Portland in mid-2024, his production jumped big time. Last season, he averaged about 17 points, over 7 boards, and nearly 4 assists across 72 games. That's solid by itself, but the efficiency made it pop. He shot almost 48% from the field and over 36% from 3. Then came March. For a stretch of about 13 games, he was putting up over 23 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. He even flirted with 50% from the floor and nearly 46% from deep during that run. That wasn't just a hot streak. That was a signal. He ended the season with a triple-double against Atlanta. 32 points, 15 boards, 10 assists. That was Portland's best look at what he could become when everything clicked. This season, Through 8 games, he's already averaging over 24 points a night with around 6.5 boards and 4.5 dimes. His field goal percentage is sitting around 46%, and he's looking confident with every touch. Internationally, he showed out at Eurobasket, averaging 24 points over 6 games for Israel and landing on the All-Star second team. He's starting to show control, patience, and polish. He's still only 24, but his frame, ball handling, and playmaking are lining up at the right time. Portland's betting big on him as a core piece in the rebuild, and right now, that bet's looking smarter by the game. If he keeps trending up, he's going to be in a whole new conversation soon. Draymond Green might not light up a scoreboard, but he's still the guy holding everything together in Golden State. Last season, he played 68 games, starting 66, and averaged 9 points, just over 6 boards, and nearly 6 assists. That's the same old Draymond, stuffing every column without needing to dominate the ball. He also added over 1 steal and 1 block per game, which helped him snag his 9th all-defensive selection and finish 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He even walked away with the Hustle Award, which sounds made up until you look at what it tracks: deflections, loose balls, drawn charges, the kind of chaos he's built his career on. He's 35 now, but still moving like someone forgot to tell him. Early this season, his numbers are almost identical to last year's, with around 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists again. He's well past the part of his career where scoring mattered. He's the defensive quarterback, the vocal leader, the guy yelling instructions while reading every possession 2 steps ahead. That's why he's still valuable, even in a league that sprinted toward offense-first play style. His career stat line: averages of nearly 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists across more than 880 games. And somehow, he's also racked up over 30 career triple-doubles without being a scorer. That's rare air for someone who came in as the 35th pick. At this point, Draymond's more about impact than flash. He's been clear he's thinking about media work when his playing days wrap up, but he's not quite done yet. As long as the Warriors need direction and defense, he's going to have a role on the floor. Rudy Gobert is still doing Rudy Gobert things, just with a little less noise and a whole lot of rebound. Last season, he averaged 12 points, nearly 11 boards, and almost 2 assists across 72 games. His field goal percentage was almost 67%, which is basically what happens when your entire shot chart is in the paint. The guy lives at the rim, and he's not trying to do anything fancy. Just dunk, rebound, and send shots back where they came from. He led all players in total rebounds during the playoff, including a monster 24 rebound performance. Even in a league that's tilted toward wings and guards, Gobert's still making his presence felt. He might not be the loudest scorer, but defensively, he's still one of the most disruptive bigs around. This season, he's averaging about 9.5 points and the same in rebound, with a shooting percentage above 67% again. That's not flashy, but it's brutally efficient. On October 31st, he put up 15 boards and 10 points in a win. And that's pretty much his blueprint. Do the dirty work, let the others chase the headline. He's 33 now, so load management's starting to matter more, but his role hasn't really changed. He's still the defensive anchor for Minnesota, still contesting everything around the rim, and still one of the toughest guys to move off his spot. Offensively, he doesn't stretch the floor, but he sets screens, rolls hard, and finishes what's handed to him. 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards later, and the formula still works. He's not here for the spotlight, just to make sure you don't get near the rim without paying a price. OG Anunoby's been one of those glue guys that finally started getting a spotlight, and honestly, it's overdue. Last season with the Knicks, he played 74 games and put up 18 points a night with nearly 5 rebounds and just over 2 assists. His field goal percentage was just under 48, and he stepped into a bigger role both offensively and defensively after arriving from Toronto. He logged more minutes than ever before and got tasked with guarding top scorers regularly. His career high came last November when he dropped 40 points against Denver. That game wasn't just a one-off either. It highlighted how much he had expanded his game. New York definitely noticed. They locked him up with a 5-year deal worth about $212 million in the summer. That's not casual money. They're building around his skill set. Early this season, he's averaging around 16.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and a couple assists. His role hasn't changed. Still guarding elite wings, still spacing the floor, and still doing the kind of work that doesn't always show up in box scores. He did miss some time with a foot sprain earlier in the year, but nothing long term. He's averaged close to 13 points across his career, but it's really been the last 2 seasons where everything started to click. His three-point shooting has improved. His defensive stats are trending up, and he's developed into one of those two-way wings every contender seems to want. OG's not flashy, but he's reliable, switchable, and productive. On a Knicks squad looking to stay competitive in the East, he gives them lineup flexibility and toughness on both ends. He's becoming a serious piece in a system that actually needs guys like him. Alperen Sengun's gone from intriguing young big to full-on offensive hub in Houston, and it's happened fast. Last season, he averaged just over 19 points, 10 rebounds, and nearly 5 assists across 76 games. He also shot about 50% from the floor and earned his first All-Star selection in 2025. That kind of production from a center who passes like a guard, yeah, it turns heads. In the offseason, he led Turkey to a silver medal at Eurobasket and was named to the All-Tournament team. The Rockets noticed. They gave him a 5-year deal worth around $185 million. So it's not just hype, they're banking on him long term. This season, he's bumped his numbers again. He's putting up around 22 points, 8 rebounds, and over 7 assists while shooting nearly 47%. On November 6th, he dropped 20 points, grabbed 16 boards, and handed out 7 assists in a single game. For a big man, those are wild stats. What makes Sengun stand out is the playmaking. His passing reads look more like a guard than a 7-footer. He's not just dumping it off, he's initiating offense, finding cutters, and making tough passes. His assist numbers are already near elite levels for a center. Houston's still rebuilding, but he's clearly at the center of it, literally and figuratively. His three-point shot hasn't fully arrived yet, but his scoring touch inside, the rebounding, and the passing, already there. Add in his Eurobasket momentum, and he's looking like one of the most well-rounded young bigs in the league. The only question now is how far he can carry a team that's clearly ready to put the ball in his hands every single night. Chet Holmgren hasn't had a quiet moment since stepping into the league, and that's without even mentioning the injury. After missing what would have been his rookie season, he came out in 2023 looking like he'd been in the league for years. He played all 82 games and averaged over 16 points, nearly 8 boards, 2 assists, and just over 2 blocks per game. He also hit over half his shots and knocked down threes at about 37%, which for a 7-footer is just plain unfair. In 2024, injuries came calling again. He played only 32 games thanks to a pelvic fracture and an ankle sprain. But even in that short run, he still managed to average 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. His field goal percentage dipped slightly, but his shooting from deep actually went up. Then came the bag. The Thunder signed him to a 5-year rookie max extension worth up to $250 million. No discounts, no drama, just a full vote of confidence from a team that had just won the title. Now in 2025, Holmgren's numbers are rising again. Through a few early games, he's averaging 23 points, over 10 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists, shooting close to 57%. His shot blocking still there, his shooting still smooth, and when he's healthy, the Thunder look like a different team. He fits the mold of that new-gen big. Protect the rim, shoot the three, switch on defense, and stretch the floor without disappearing under the basket. With injuries hopefully behind him and that giant contract in his pocket, Chet's primed to be one of the most complete front-court weapons in the league. De'Aaron Fox has been sprinting past defenders since he entered the league, and now he's doing it in his Spurs jersey. After 7.5 seasons with the Kings, he got traded to San Antonio in February of 2025. Before the move, he was averaging 23.5 points, 6.3 assists, and nearly 5 rebounds per game, while shooting around 46% from the field. Then in 17 games with the Spurs, he still put up nearly 20 points and close to 7 assists per night. His three-point shooting, still a work in progress. He shot about 31% from deep last season on over 6 attempts a game. That's the one area he hasn't fully leveled up, but his speed, finishing, and mid-range touch still make him a nightmare in transition and late-game scenarios. Unfortunately, his season ended in March with finger surgery. That injury cost him the rest of the year, but it didn't stop the Spurs from locking him in. In August, he signed a 4-year extension worth around $229 million. That's serious faith in him as the lead guard of their young core. Fox's career averages are sitting around 21.5 points, just over 6 assists, and nearly 4 rebounds per game across more than 530 outings. He's not just quick, he's relentless. He gets to the rim, creates off the bounce, and is always one fast break away from flipping momentum. The big question now is durability. He's recovering from that finger surgery, and how he returns will matter. But if he's fully healthy, San Antonio has one of the league's fastest backcourt threats leading their offense for the long haul. DeJounte Murray's path has been anything but smooth, but the guy keeps reinventing himself. Last season with New Orleans, he averaged 17.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 7.4 assists. He stepped right into a lead playmaking role after coming over from Atlanta, and the rebounding from a guard his size really stood out. But it wasn't all clean. His shooting dipped under 40%, and he hit just under 30% from three. That hurt his scoring efficiency, especially in tight games. Then came the setback. In February, Murray tore his right Achilles and missed the rest of the season. That's his second major injury. He missed the entire 2018 season with an ACL tear. So this return is a big one. Rehab's going to be crucial, and the Pelicans are definitely watching his minutes and movement closely this year. Before the injury, though, he was doing a little bit of everything, guarding multiple spots, setting up teammates, and crashing the board. New Orleans brought him in to stabilize the backcourt, and even though the shot wasn't falling, the floor game was still there. His assist numbers were the best of his career. He's not the flashiest guard, but when healthy, he's productive across the board. His career averages, around 15 points, nearly 6 rebounds, and over 5 assists, are a clear sign of how much he brings outside of just scoring. If the jumper improves and his legs bounce back, he can still impact games as a starter. For a Pelicans team packed with wings and scorers, having someone like Murray running the show could still be one of their smartest long-term bets. Scotty Barnes has been evolving fast, and the Raptors are clearly letting him drive the bus now. Last season, he averaged just over 19 points, nearly 8 rebounds, and almost 6 assists in 65 games. That playmaking number from a forward stands out. He's not just finishing plays, he's setting them up. His shooting wasn't perfect, though. He hovered around 44% from the field, which left some room for growth. That growth is already showing this season. Through a handful of games, he's averaging about 21 points, close to 7 boards, and 4.5 assists, while shooting over 52%. That's a big efficiency leap, and it could mean he's starting to settle into a smarter, more controlled scoring rhythm. He's had standout performances already, like dropping 33 points and 11 rebounds against Dallas, and nearly posting a triple-double against Memphis. He's still doing a little of everything: scoring, rebounding, defending, creating. The versatility is what keeps his value rising. Barnes is 6'8", over 230 pounds, and plays like a point forward. That's a rare mold. His rebounding is solid for his position, and his assist rate suggests he's more than just a wing scorer. If his three-point shot becomes more reliable and he keeps finishing stronger at the rim, he's going to be a major matchup problem every night. Toronto's still figuring things out, but Barnes is the piece they're building around. He's got the size, the tools, and the basketball brain to impact both ends. Now it's about consistency. If that field goal percentage holds and the assists climb, he's moving into all-star territory fast. Vooch keeps churning out double-doubles. Like it's a to-do list item he refuses to skip. At 35 years old, he's still starting at center for the Bulls and somehow putting up nearly 20 points, 12 rebounds, and over 4 assists per game so far this season. His shooting, a ridiculous 58% from the field. This man is aging like a spreadsheet, reliable, organized, and still surprisingly productive. Last season wasn't too shabby either. He averaged 18.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, while shooting 53%. So if you're wondering whether he's slowing down, the numbers say absolutely not. He even dropped 40 points and 13 boards in a single game back in January, because apparently Father Time is stuck in traffic. He passed 10,000 career rebounds in February, becoming just the 44th player in the league history to do it. That milestone pretty much sums up his entire career. Quiet consistency, elite rebounding, and way more skill than he gets credit for. He's not flashy, but he'll hit the jumper, space the floor, make the right pass, and control the glass without saying much about it. Vooch has now played for 3 teams, Philly, Orlando, and Chicago, and he's logged nearly 1,000 games. His career averages are around 17 points and 10 boards. The Bulls are still using him as a reliable interior scorer and a secondary playmaker, and his contract isn't cheap either. He's making over $21 million this season. At this point, he's a veteran big who just gets the job done. No drama, no theatrics, just buckets, boards, and box scores that keep looking solid no matter how many birthdays he adds. Mikal Bridges has quietly developed into one of the most reliable two-way wings in the NBA. After stops in Phoenix and Brooklyn, he landed with the New York Knicks in the summer of 2024, and true to form, he played in all 82 games last season. That extended his Iron Man streak to over 500 consecutive games played, the longest active run in the league. He's never missed a single NBA game in his career. During the 2024-2025 season, Bridges averaged 17.6 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game. He shot exactly 50% from the field. Efficient, consistent, and low maintenance. He wasn't a high-usage star, but he contributed on both ends. In one standout moment, he drilled a buzzer-beating three-pointer in overtime on March 13th to lift the Knicks past Portland, a reminder that he can deliver when the game's on the line. Now, in the early part of the 2025-2026 season, his numbers are trending upward. He's averaging roughly 19 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 4.8 assists per game, while shooting an outstanding 56.5% from the field. That's not just solid, that's elite efficiency for a wing. The playmaking and rebounding growth show. He's rounding out his game beyond just being a spot-up shooter or a lockdown defender. This past August, the Knicks committed to him long-term, signing him to a 4-year, $150 million contract extension. That move signaled just how much they value his skill set. As a defensive anchor on the wing, a floor spacer, and a developing secondary playmaker. Defensively, he's still one of the league's best perimeter stoppers. He can switch onto guards or wings, rarely makes mistakes off the ball, and takes on the toughest matchups nightly. On offense, his growth in scoring and facilitation points to a more complete package than earlier in his career. Bridges might never be a volume scorer or the face of a franchise, but he's the kind of player winning teams are built around. Dependable, efficient, durable, and low ego. He doesn't need the spotlight to make an impact, and that's exactly why he continues to rise in value. Jarrett Allen continues to be one of the league's most efficient and quietly consistent big men. Now in his 9th NBA season, he's firmly established as the Cleveland Cavaliers' starting center and defensive anchor. Last season, Allen played all 82 games. He averaged 13.5 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per game. But what really stood out was his efficiency. He shot a league-best 70.6% from the field, leading all qualified players in field goal percentage. That elite efficiency reflects his role: finish around the rim, clean the glass, and protect the paint. On March 27th, he dropped a season-high 29 points, showing he can still find ways to assert himself offensively when needed. So far in the early part of the 2025-2026 season, Allen is averaging about 14 points, 7 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists per game, while shooting around 57.5% from the field. Those numbers are a bit below last year's pace, but still solid, especially given the Cavs' evolving offensive system. In July 2024, Cleveland doubled down on Allen's importance to their core by signing him to a 3-year contract extension worth approximately $91 million. That deal keeps him locked in through his age 30 season, a big win for team continuity. Defensively, Allen remains one of the better interior anchors in the league. He rebounds at a high level, contests shots consistently without fouling, and holds down the paint so teammates can pressure on the perimeter. He's not a shot-blocking highlight reel every night, but his verticality and timing make him effective. He's also shown resilience, though he dealt with a hand injury scare. In February 2025, he still completed the season without missing significant time. Allen's offensive game hasn't expanded much beyond the paint. He doesn't shoot threes or stretch the floor, but he doesn't need to. His identity is clear: a high-efficiency, high-rebound center who makes winning plays without demanding touches. In a league that often chases floor spacing and flash, Allen represents the other end of the spectrum, an old-school big with modern efficiency. You know what you're getting. And for Cleveland, that kind of consistency has major value. Jalen Johnson stepping into this season like he never missed time at all. After that shoulder surgery knocked him out last year, he's come back stronger and sharper. Right now, he's putting up around 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, while hitting over 57% of his shots. That's not just solid, that's confident, decisive basketball from a forward who's clearly settled into his role. And his role keeps growing. Johnson's not just a scoring option, he's helping run the offense, keeping the ball moving and still crashing the glass like a big. That 5-year deal the Hawks gave him? Yeah, It's already starting to look like a good bet. When you've got a 6'9" guy who can switch, handle, pass, and bang inside, you don't let him walk. The jump in assists has been one of the most interesting things to watch. For a forward, hovering around 5 per game shows how comfortable he's become creating plays. But with that, there's still room to clean up turnovers, especially as he continues to touch the ball more. His three-point shot is decent, but it's definitely one area that could push him to another level if he locks it in. On defense, he's still doing a bit of everything. Helping on the boards, switching on wings, and sneaking in some steals and blocks. The Hawks are leaning on him more now, and with good reason. The big test will be if he can keep up this production deep into the season, especially after a big injury. But for now, he looks ready. Lauri started this season like he's got something to prove. After a bit of a slide last year, where he averaged about 19 points and shot just over 42%, he's turned the dial all the way up. Right now, he's pouring in around 31 points per game with 7 rebounds and a couple assists. His shooting's up too, hitting close to 48% from the field, which feels way more like the version Utah hoped for. This is a guy who's had a long path to get here. Drafted back in 2017, bounced from Chicago to Cleveland, and then really found his groove in Utah. That 23-point season 2 years ago, that wasn't some fluke. The Jazz knew what they had, and now he's their number one option. He's still one of the most reliable shooting bigs in the league. The three ball has become a real weapon for him, stretching out defenses and creating room for everybody else. His size and shooting combo continues to be a mismatch nightmare, even if he's not the most physical forward out there. That said, the Jazz did get hit with a fine last March after they sat him despite being available. Not exactly ideal, but it shows how careful they're being with his minutes. He's a franchise piece now, and they're treating him like it. From Finland to Arizona to headlining in Salt Lake City, the evolution has been steady. There's still room to push his assist numbers higher and stay consistent on the glass, but if this early run holds up, he's back in all-star territory. And honestly, when he's playing like this, the Jazz can hang with just about anybody. Zach LaVine's scoring close to 30 points a night right now, shooting about 53% from the field, and doing it with that same smooth, bouncy style that's made him one of the most watchable players in the league. But the assist numbers? Around 2 per game, so he's clearly leaning all the way into the scoring role. Last season, he put up over 23 points with the Bulls before the Kings made their move. That field goal percentage was already solid at about 51%, but it's gone up again this year, which is impressive, considering the extra volume. He's not just chucking, he's hitting tough shots and making defenders regret taking their eyes off him for half a second. It's not like he's a new kid on the block either. He's been in the league over a decade now, and after stints in Minnesota and Chicago, this stop in Sacramento feels different. He's not just the highlight dunker anymore, he's the focal point. The guy defenses are keying in on every night. Of course, there's still stuff to keep an eye on. His rebounding's dipped a little, and the playmaking hasn't really been a focus so far. That could change depending on how the team adjusts around him. And defensively, he's not locking anyone up, but he's holding his own enough not to be a liability. Bottom line, LaVine's been putting up huge numbers with wild efficiency. Sacramento's giving him the green light, and he's lighting it up. Whether he can sustain this pace and lead them deep into the season, well, that's what's going to define this run. Brandon Ingram's now suiting up for Toronto, and he's putting together a bounce-back campaign. After injuries wrecked most of last season, where he played only 18 games, he's already averaging around 22 points, nearly 6 rebounds, and close to 4 assists per night, while shooting over 53% from the field. That's an efficient start, especially after dealing with that ankle injury last December that took a big chunk out of his year. Before the move, he was putting up solid numbers for New Orleans, over 22 points, 5 rebounds, and assists last season before he got hurt. The field goal percentage hovered near 46%, which was respectable, but he's clearly sharper now. And Toronto wasted no time locking him in, giving him a new 3-year deal worth around $120 million, with a player option tacked on the end. Not bad for a guy whose availability had just taken a hit. Now with the Raptors, he's expected to take on that leading role, the primary scoring option in a younger lineup. He's always had the tools: long frame, smooth mid-range, decent playmaking, but consistency has been the big question. Injuries, fit, and usage have all played a part over the years. This version of Ingram looks more decisive, more efficient, and possibly more comfortable not having to share touches with other high-usage wings. If he can keep that shooting clip up and stay healthy, this could be the best version we've seen yet. Playmaking might dip a bit with Toronto's system, but if he keeps hitting shots like this, it won't matter. Right now, it's about staying on the floor and keeping that momentum rolling through the season. Alex Sarr's rookie year made one thing loud and clear. The potential is real. He's already putting together games with double-digit rebound, a few blocks, and flashes of offensive growth. Right now, the numbers are hanging around 13 points, 6 rebounds, and nearly 2 blocks per game. That's exactly what Washington signed up for when they took him second overall. His wingspan and mobility make him a nightmare defensively, and he's already protecting the rim like a seasoned vet, coming from overtime elite. And then the NBL in Australia, he had a unique path to the league. In Perth, he didn't stuff the stat sheet, but scouts loved his defense, and that's translated fast. His block percentage as a rookie was among the best for young bigs, and his timing on contests stands out right away. The scoring, that's still developing. He's got finishing touch, but the jumper's a work in progress, especially from deep. He even set a franchise record in March, becoming the youngest Wizards player to drop 30 or more in a game. That was the moment you could see why the team's banking on him long term. They already picked up his rookie option, and he's firmly in the center of their rebuild plan. What to watch moving forward? His three-point shot needs to come along if he wants to stretch defenses. He also needs to bulk up and sharpen that post game. Too often he's pushed off spots or settles for tough shots. Still, the flashes are there. He can pass, run the floor, and handle the ball better than most 7-footers. If he stays healthy and adds muscle, Sarr is going to be a big part of Washington's future, whether or not the wins come right away. Drew Holiday's moved into a whole new chapter with Portland, and somehow he's still finding ways to raise his game. At 35 years old, he's averaging around 18 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 9 assists, all while shooting just over 48% from the field. That's a huge leap from last season, when he put up about 11 points and under 4 assists with Boston. Safe to say, the expanded role's working. His move to the Trail Blazers came after a year that wasn't flashy, stat-wise, but full of accolade. He won the Sportsmanship Award again, and also picked up the Social Justice Champion Award. Not surprising if you followed his off-court efforts. The guy's been just as impactful outside the lines as on them. On the floor, the numbers show a real shift. His assist average is the highest it's been in years, pointing to a clear focus on running the offense. Portland's young core needs a leader, and Drew's stepping right into that role. He's still defending at a high level, still strong at the point of attack, and now, clearly the main engine for the offense. His shooting splits have ticked back up too, including solid numbers from beyond the arc. Even with a smaller scoring load last season, he stayed efficient, and that's carrying over. He's not taking over games like a volume scorer, but his fingerprints are all over the box score. This isn't some farewell tour either. The guy's making real contributions on a team that's trying to build a foundation. If he keeps this pace up, it's going to be hard to ignore how well he's aged. Veteran presence? Sure, but he's still hooping like he's got something to prove. Tyler Hero's coming off his best season yet, and that's not up for debate. He averaged just under 24 points, over 5 rebounds, and about 5.5 assists, while shooting close to 47% from the field. He started all 77 games, finally got that all-star nod, and even took home the 3-point contest trophy. The guy's shot making took a big leap, and he proved he could carry a consistent offensive load across a full season. The improvement wasn't just in volume, it was in efficiency too. His 3-point percentage sat around 38%, and his true shooting cracked 60%. That's a scoring guard who knows how to pick his spots. He added more playmaking to his game as well, showing he can create for others and not just get buckets. But this season's got a delay. In September, he had ankle surgery to fix a posterior impingement issue, so he's expected to miss the early part of the year. Miami's hoping that doesn't throw off his rhythm, because they've made it clear he's a major piece of their plans going forward. The Heat have retooled a bit, and Hero's role might even grow when he's back. If he builds on his assist numbers and continues shooting this efficiently, he could start creeping into that elite tier of scoring guards. The next step is playoff consistency. He's had his moments, but the challenge has always been turning regular season production into postseason success. There's also the contract angle. With his value rising, there's going to be more focus on whether he becomes that go-to guy in crunch time. Once he's healthy, expect him to be back firing threes and slashing through defenses like nothing happened. Franz Wagner's shaping up to be one of the league's most reliable young forward. Last season, he averaged just over 24 points, nearly 6 rebounds, and close to 5 assists across 60 games. That was his best year yet, and the Magic rewarded him big. A massive extension worth over $220 million, with incentives pushing it even higher. That deal kicks in this season, and judging by his early numbers, they didn't overpay. Through the start of this season, he's sitting around 23 points, 5 rebounds, and just under 4 assists, while shooting over 50% from the field. The efficiency jump has been noticeable. He's not just getting more touches, he's getting better with them. That oblique injury last year that sidelined him for about 20 games looks like it's behind him. Franz has become the primary scoring option for Orlando, which is saying something considering how balanced their roster's been. He's playing both forward spots, switching on defense, and initiating offense depending on the matchup. His three-point shot still isn't elite. Career average hovers in the low 30s. But with everything else he brings, it's not holding him back. The international experience with Germany and that college stint at Michigan helped round out his game early, but it's in Orlando where he's really grown. His frame, skill set, and willingness to take on more responsibility have made him the cornerstone piece, the magic we're hoping for. Now it's about staying healthy, increasing that assist rate a bit more, and continuing to work on his range. But right now, he's producing at a high level on both ends. For a 23-year-old, he's already playing like a guy 10 years into the league. Miles Bridges is right back in his role as Charlotte's go-to guy, and the numbers haven't dropped off. He's currently averaging just over 20 points, nearly 7 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, with a field goal percentage around 43%. That's right in line with what he put up last season, where he posted over 20 points, 7.5 boards, and close to 4 assists across 64 games. He's been logging heavy minutes and playing a big role on both ends, though his efficiency continues to be the thing people are circling, that field goal mark in the low 40s. And a three-point percentage hovering around 31% last year suggests there's still some work to do as a shooter. He takes a lot of threes, around 7 per game, but the results haven't always followed. That said, the Hornets keep leaning on him because of everything else he brings. He's a strong rebounder for his position, gets downhill in transition, and can finish through contact. And when he gets hot, the ceiling's high, like that 46-point game against Cleveland back in March. The problem is stringing those performances together more often. He re-signed with Charlotte this past summer, locking himself into the core of a team that's still trying to find an identity. If he can push that shooting percentage up and find more rhythm from deep, he'll take another step. And he's got the volume and freedom to make it happen. Consistency is the big thing. He's had flashes, he's had big nights, but for the Hornets to really move forward, they'll need him to be that version more often, not just occasionally. The tools are there, and the opportunity definitely is. Aaron Gordon started this season like he's been holding something back. He's putting up close to 20 points per game, shooting over 55% from the field, and knocking down shots at a career best clip. That's coming right after a playoff run where he averaged over 16 points and nearly 8 rebounds, proving again he's way more than just a role player next to Denver stars. Last year, he averaged around 15 points and hit over 43% of his threes. That was a real shift in his profile. Earlier in his career, the outside shot was hit or miss, but lately, it's looked sharp. He even had a night where he made 10 threes and dropped 50 points against Golden State. That was a career high, and not the kind of stat line people used to expect from Gordon. He's still doing all the stuff he's known for, playing strong defense, cutting, finishing around the rim. But now he's added reliable shooting and even more efficient scoring. Denver clearly sees the value, locking him into a 4-year deal worth around $133 million. There was a health scare last spring with a hamstring strain, but he was able to play through it. He also changed his jersey number to honor his late brother, which adds even more meaning to this chapter of his career. For a guy who came into the league mostly known for dunk contests, he's turned himself into one of the most consistent two-way forwards in the league. And now, with a contract, a ring, and the green light to do more on offense, he's making the most of it. Every year he seems to add a new piece to the puzzle. Derek White's carved out a spot as one of the most valuable two-way guards in the league, even if his game doesn't scream for attention. Last season, he put up around 16 points, 5 assists, and 4.5 rebounds while starting all 76 games. His shooting splits were solid, with a field goal percentage just over 44%, and he continued doing exactly what Boston needed, scoring when called on, facilitating, and locking down on defense. He even had a breakout moment last March, dropping 41 points and drilling 9 threes in a win that turned heads. That was a peak, but it wasn't a fluke. His roles grown year over year since arriving from San Antonio. Boston committed to him long-term too, giving him a 4-year extension worth nearly $126 million this past summer. Now in the early stretch of this season, he's averaging around 15 points, 4 assists and close to 4 boards, though the shooting has taken a dip. He's hitting under 31% from the field and just 25% from deep in a small sample. That's clearly a slump, but it's early, and his defensive presence hasn't wavered. White's impact goes beyond stats. He defends across positions, plays off the ball, and makes smart decisions. He's not going to lead the team in scoring, but he might be the guy making the biggest plays when it counts. His ability to rebound, switch, and still run the offense when needed makes him the glue in Boston's system. The Celtics see him as part of the core, and if he finds his shooting rhythm again, he'll be back to doing what he does best, giving his team exactly what it needs. Miles Turner has quietly built one of the more unique careers among modern NBA bigs. Drafted 11th overall by the Indiana Pacers back in 2015, he spent a full decade with the team, carving out a role as an elite rim protector who could also stretch the floor. He averaged around 14 points, nearly 7 rebounds, and over 2 blocks per game across that span, with his ability to protect the paint and shoot threes setting him apart. In the 2024 to 2025 season, Turner played 72 games and averaged 15.6 points, 6.5 boards, and 2.0 blocks per game, while shooting about 48% from the field and nearly 40% from 3. He became Indiana's all-time leader in blocks during that season and helped lead the Pacers to a finals appearance in 2025. But the big story came in July of 2025. Turner left Indiana and signed a 4-year deal worth around $107 million with the Milwaukee Bucks. He stepped into a major role there, essentially replacing Brook Lopez as the defensive anchor and floor spacer next to Giannis. In the early part of the 2025 to 2026 season, Turner is producing close to 20 points and 7 rebounds per night, with a field goal percentage north of 55%. He even had a 17-point, 7 rebound showing in just 29 minutes against Golden State. This early impact shows the Bucks brought him in, not just for defense, but for expanded offensive contributions as well. He is one of just a handful of players in league history with over 700 made threes and more than 1,400 blocks. A stat that highlights how rare his profile, a rim-protecting big who can reliably shoot from deep. In your video, you can frame Miles Turner as the modern archetype of a stretch 5, someone who protects the rim, hits threes at nearly 40%, and now, after 10 seasons in Indiana, enters a new chapter on a contending team with a big contract and even bigger expectation. Darius Garland came into this season with a whole toe surgery in his rearview mirror, and it's clear he's still shaking off the rust. He just made his season debut after missing time from that surgery in June, and in his return, he dropped 8 points with 4 assists. Nothing crazy, but considering he's still getting his legs back under him, it's a solid enough start. Last season, though, completely different story. Garland was rolling with over 20 points a game, nearly 7 assists, and shot almost 41% from 3, while attempting more than 7 per game. That's a strong combo for a point guard carrying that much of the offense. He was a 2-time All-Star by the end of last season, and even hit a wild 31-foot buzzer beater in February that got everybody talking. It's also worth pointing out that his efficiency didn't drop despite his usage being high. He was at 47% from the field overall, which tells you how smart he's been with his shot selection. The Cavaliers relied on him heavily last season while stacking wins in the East, and now that he's back, there's a lot riding on how fast he gets back to that level. Garland's already top 5 in Cavaliers history for threes and top 10 in assists. He's the floor general, the primary creator, and the guy they count on when things tighten up. The big questions now, can he climb back toward 20 points a night and push those assists up past 7 again? And can he stay healthy long enough to lead them into another playoff run? No guarantees, but if his rhythm comes back soon, this could get real interesting fast. Chris Paul is officially in year 21 and somehow still managing to contribute. After a full 82-game run with San Antonio last season, he's now back in Los Angeles with the Clippers. Yeah, that team, the one where he spent 6 seasons during his prime. This is probably his last ride, and honestly, it makes sense. He's already made it clear retirement is on the table. At 40, after 2 decades, he's not chasing stats. He's here to run the offense, settle things down, and teach the younger guys how to actually take care of the ball. Last season with the Spurs, Paul averaged nearly 9 points and over 7 assists while starting every single game. For a veteran guard with that much mileage, that's impressive. He shot just under 43% from the field and still had one of the better assist rates in the league. The dude has logged over 1,300 games and still rarely turns the ball over. He's sitting at over 23,000 points and more than 12,000 assists for his career. Historically, he's second all time in both assists and steals. That's not just good, that's rare territory. He's never won a title, but he's done everything else. Rookie of the Year, 12 All-Star selections, and multiple All-NBA nods. Now he's back with the Clippers, not to dominate, but to help guide. No long-term injury is slowing him down right now either. He's not going to average 20 points anymore, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to lead, manage the floor, and stay healthy. If this is the final season, then this return to Los Angeles could be the perfect bookend to an all-time career. Paul George came into this season trying to bounce back from another frustrating injury stretch. After appearing in only 41 games last season for Philadelphia, he was shut down in March with complications in his left knee and adductor. That led to arthroscopic surgery in July, and so far this season, he hasn't returned. He's still listed as out, and the team struggled to find consistent rhythm without him on the floor. They brought him in on a massive 4-year deal last summer, hoping he'd be the veteran star to complement Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. But so far, that trio has barely had a chance to develop chemistry. Before the injury last season, George averaged just over 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. His efficiency dipped, sitting around 43% from the field and about 36% from deep. The signs of aging and injury wear are real, but there's still upside when he's active. He's always been known for his two-way play. Big wings who can shoot, pass, and defend are rare. That's never gone away completely. But the question now is how often he can actually deliver that at a high level. George has been in the league since 2010 and is a 9-time All-Star. He's also made multiple all-defensive teams, and for years, he was considered one of the best two-way wings in the game. At 35, he's clearly in the final stages of that run, but the Sixers are hoping they get a solid version of him back. Whether he returns to being a dependable scorer or shifts more into a glue guy role, the team's ceiling changes a lot depending on what he gives them moving forward. Isaiah Hartenstein might not be the flashiest name on the roster, but his impact has become impossible to ignore. After signing a 3-year deal with Oklahoma City, worth around $87 million, he helped anchor the paint during their championship run in 2025. That's right, he's an NBA champion, and honestly, his numbers backed it up. Last season, he averaged just over 11 points, almost 11 rebounds, and close to 4 assists a game, all while shooting nearly 58% from the field. That kind of consistency around the rim is gold for a team with scoring wings and fast-paced guards. Heading into this season, he's still doing his thing. He's putting up similar production with over 10 points and 11 rebounds per game, and he's even bumped his shooting to around 59%. He's not asked to score a ton, but the guy's a machine on the boards and makes smart decisions with the ball. At 7 feet tall and around 250 pounds, he brings that physical presence teams love in the middle, especially when it's paired with passing and touch. He was originally drafted 43rd overall by the Rockets back in 2017 and took the scenic route to relevance, bouncing around, developing overseas, grinding through the G League. But now, he settled into a starting role on one of the top teams in the league. His story's about growth and fit, not stardom, and that's fine. Oklahoma City doesn't need him to be a superstar. They need him to rebound, finish, defend, and keep making the right plays. If he stays healthy, he's going to be one of those guys who quietly helps push deep playoff runs without ever needing the spotlight. Russell Westbrook's still going, somehow. And he's low-key been going off for Sacramento this season so far. Now in his 18th season, he's back in a reduced role and doing what he can to contribute. Last year with Denver, he played in 75 games and averaged just over 13 points, nearly 5 rebounds, and a bit more than 6 assists. Not bad for a guy whose game used to be based entirely on speed and explosion. The numbers are definitely lower this season, with early stats around 12 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists per night, while shooting just under 40%. The days of him breaking the sound barrier on fast breaks, mostly in the rear view, but that legacy's still massive. He's the NBA's all-time leader in triple-doubles and hit that mark years ago. Over 26,000 points, nearly 10,000 assists, and almost 9,000 rebounds later, he's still finding ways to stay useful. He's not the first or second option anymore, but he can still push the pace, find open shooters, and make plays in short bursts. That's been his lane lately. Controlled chaos in a 20-minute window. He was drafted back in 2008, 4th overall, by Seattle, right before they turned into Oklahoma City. He won MVP in 2017 while averaging over 31 points, 10 boards, and 10 assists. That stretch of triple-double seasons is still one of the wildest runs ever. Since then, he's bounced around a lot. Houston, Washington, both Los Angeles teams, Denver, and now a veteran role with Sacramento. His shot selection can still get wild, and his efficiency's never been the calling card, but he's adapted more than people expect. At 36, it's about moments now, not dominant. But knowing Russ, he's not coasting to the finish line. He's sprinting, just with fewer takeoffs. DeAndre Ayton's now in Los Angeles, rocking the purple and gold after signing a 2-year deal this past summer. It's a new stop in what's already been a wild career arc. He started off as the #1 overall pick back in 2018 with all the expectations in the world. And while he hasn't exactly turned into a dominant force night after night, his numbers have always been steady. Last season with Portland, he played 40 games and averaged over 14 points and 10 rebounds a game while shooting nearly 57% from the field. He missed time with a calf strain, but when he played, he gave them double-digit boards and reliable offense around the rim. Now with the Lakers, he started the year posting about 15 points and almost 8 rebounds a night while hitting over 62% of his shots. That's a massive efficiency bump and probably a sign of better spacing and easier looks. Ayton's job in Los Angeles is clear: protect the paint, finish inside, clean the glass, and stay available. Physically, he's a 7-footer, which gives him a big edge defensively. And as a lob target, his career playoff numbers are solid too, hovering around 16 points and 10 boards on over 62% shooting. It's never really been about talent with him. It's been more about consistency and drive. He's got the tools, and now he's on a team with legit expectation. If he stays locked in, he could be a major piece. If not, it'll be another season of asking what could have been. Either way, the Lakers are betting he can bring size and reliability to a front court that needed both. CJ McCollum's on his 3rd team now, bringing that steady scoring game to Washington after a trade from New Orleans this past summer. His role's shifting, sure, but he's still capable of putting points on the board. Last season with the Pelicans, he averaged just over 21 points, nearly 4 rebounds, and around 4 assists across 56 games. He shot just above 44% from the field and hit nearly 37% from deep. The season ended early, though, after a bone bruise in his right foot shut him down in April. Despite the injury, he still tied his career high with 50 points in a game back in January, showing he can still get cooking when needed. Now 34, McCollum's entering that phase where the veteran label starts sticking more than the star one. After arriving in Washington in a deal involving Jordan Poole, he's being asked to be the experienced voice on a rebuilding roster. His scoring's dipped early this season, but that's expected when minutes get chopped and usage shrinks. He was originally drafted 10th overall in 2013 by Portland, where he spent most of his career alongside Damian Lillard. He eventually climbed into the top 5 all-time scorers in Blazers history. Now with nearly 16,000 career points, McCollum's one of those guys who's been productive for a long time without making a ton of noise about it. He's never been flashy, but he's reliable. Mid-range game, smooth footwork, and enough off-ball movement to keep defenders guessing. His 3-point shot's still solid, and if the Wizards manage his minutes right, he could be the perfect bridge between the young guys trying to find their way and a franchise trying to stay functional. Dyson Daniels made one of the biggest leaps in the league last season, and the hardware proves it. He started all 76 games for Atlanta, averaged over 14 points, nearly 6 rebounds, more than 4 assists, and led the league with about 3 steals per game. He became the first player since the mid-90s to rack up over 220 steals in a single season, and the margin between him and second place was the largest in league history. That effort earned him the Most Improved Player award and a spot on the All-Defensive First Team. Not bad for a guy who was averaging under 6 points just a season earlier. Atlanta clearly bought into the breakout, locking him in with a 4-year extension worth around $100 million. He's already been dubbed a key piece of their future, and with his size at 6'7", he gives them major flexibility on the wing. He's not just swiping passes, he's contributing across the board. His nickname, the Great Barrier Thief, fits way too well at this point. So far this season, the production's dipped a bit. He's around 8 points, 6 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists, and his shooting has cooled off to just under 40%. That's not surprising, considering the jump he just made. Teams are scouting him differently now, and that adjustment takes time. Still, his defense hasn't taken a step back. He was drafted 8th overall in 2022, and now he's gone from promising prospect to legit two-way threat. The offense might have its ups and downs, but the defense travel. If he finds a rhythm again on the scoring side, that extension's going to look like a steal. Pun very much intended. Brandon Miller looked like he was on his way to a breakout before his season got cut short. In his second year with Charlotte, he bumped his scoring to 21 points a game through 27 starts, adding nearly 5 rebounds and almost 4 assists. His field goal percentage dropped to around 40%, but the usage was high and he was clearly the go-to guy. Unfortunately, his year ended early with wrist surgery in January, a torn scapholinate ligament in his shooting hand. That injury was a setback, especially with how much progress he was making. And unfortunately, he just got hurt once again this season. In his rookie year, he averaged over 17 points and shot about 44% from the field and 37% from three. Those are strong starting numbers, and the leap he took before the injury proves he's trending in the right direction. The Hornets are in full rebuild mode, and Miller's development is central to any success they're hoping to build. He's got the tools, a solid handle, good feel, and a scoring package that already works in the league. What comes next is sharpening that shot selection, staying healthy, and expanding his impact beyond scoring. If he does that, the Hornets might finally have something real to build around. Jalen Duren's coming into his own, and it's happening fast. Just 21 years old, he's already putting up nearly 18 points and 10 rebounds per game to start the new season. That's a huge jump from last year when he averaged just under 12 points and slightly over 10 boards across 78 games. He shot nearly 70% from the field in that stretch, which put him among the most efficient scorers in the league. He's not stepping out to hit threes, but when you're finishing that well around the rim, you don't need to. Duren carved out his spot in the middle as Detroit's anchor. He's got that classic bruiser frame at 6'10", 250 pounds, and his physicality shows, especially when he's crashing the glass or powering through defenders. That intensity bubbled over already this season when he got tossed for a flagrant elbow against Houston. He's not out there to make friends. Just ask the guy who tried to box him out that night. In the playoffs last spring, he kept his numbers steady, averaging nearly 12 points, over 10 rebounds, and 3.5 assists in 6 games. So far this year, he's already had a monster outing with 33 points and 10 rebounds on 13 for 16 shooting. If that's any indication of where he's headed, the Pistons might have something special at center. He was picked 13th overall back in 2022, and now he's one of the most promising young bigs in the league. The combination of size, touch, rebounding, and youth is rare. As long as he keeps building on this momentum, Detroit's going to be leaning on him for a long time. Benedict Mathurin's growth curve just keeps rising. After entering the league as the 6th overall pick, he came in hot with one of the best bench scoring seasons in Indiana's history. He dropped over 1,000 points in year 1, and that wasn't even as a full-time starter. He still made the all-rookie first team and didn't need a spotlight to do it. His minutes stayed solid in year 2, but his efficiency crept up, and by year 3, he was starting nearly 2/3 of the time and producing at a clip that made his rookie numbers look like warm-ups. He averaged over 16 points with more rebounds and an improved shot profile. His free throws stayed sharp, over 83%, and his shooting percentages kept climbing, which is always a good sign that he's figuring out the game instead of just chucking shots. His playoff numbers haven't matched his regular season output, but with 22 playoff games under his belt already, the experience is stacking up. Now this season, even though it's early, he's been on a tear. 2 games in, he's averaging 31 points while hitting half his threes and almost 90% of his free throws. He's clearly locked in offensively. That toe issue from October might throw a wrench into the momentum, but if he stays healthy, he's set up to be a primary option. His assists still hover around 2 per game, and the rebounding's decent for a wing, just over 5 last year. But the scoring is where he's moving the needle. With his size, athleticism, and shooting touch, he's become way more than a role player. The Pacers are leaning on him heavier, and so far, he's handling it just fine. Devo was picked 17th in the draft by Milwaukee, won a ring there in 2021, and bounced around a bit after that, with solid stretches in Sacramento, Golden State, and New York. With the Knicks, he played 81 games and averaged over 15 points with efficient shooting from deep. That season really pushed his value up. Then came the trade to Minnesota, part of the package that moved Karl Anthony Towns to New York. His first year with the Timberwolves was productive. Over 11 points, nearly 4 assists, and strong shooting numbers across the board. His three-point percentage stayed close to 40%, which lined up with his growth into more of a movement shooter and off-ball threat. That role has only expanded. So far, in 2025, he's putting up around 13.5 points per game and nearly 4 assists while shooting over 41% from deep. That's with about 30 minutes a night, so he's clearly earned trust on both ends of the floor. This is a guy who rebounds better than you'd expect for a guard, defends at multiple spots, and doesn't mind doing the unglamorous work. His contract runs through at least 2026, so Minnesota's got him locked in. And at just under $12 million for the season, he's become a solid value piece. He had that toe injury back in January, but it hasn't stopped him from contributing early this year. He's not a star, but he's built a career by being ready, reliable, and in rhythm when it counts. VJ Edgecombe wasted no time making headlines. Drafted 3rd overall by Philadelphia, he showed exactly why in his very first NBA game, scoring 34 points and breaking the Sixers' all-time rookie debut record. That performance also put him 3rd, all-time in league history for debut scoring, only behind Wilt Chamberlain and Frank Selvin. That's the kind of start that gets people talking. He came into the league after 1 year at Baylor, where he averaged 15 points, over 5 rebounds, and a little more than 3 assists per game. He picked up several honors, including Big 12 Freshman of the Year. His college efficiency was solid, 43.6% from the field, and just above 34% from deep, with room to grow. His scouting report leaned heavily on his athleticism and defensive potential, which are already flashing in his early NBA minutes. In the early games, he's shown flashes of his versatility. One stat line included 26 points, 7 assists, and 4 boards. Another showed 3 steals in limited minutes. He's impacting both ends, which matters more than any one hot shooting night. His summer league debut wasn't quiet either. He dropped 28 points and grabbed 10 boards. The biggest thing to watch is whether his shooting can keep up. His three-point numbers in college were decent, but to reach his full potential, he'll need that to improve. Decision-making is another area where scouts saw room to grow, especially if he ends up in more of a ball-handling role alongside or behind Tyrese Maxey. Still, for a 19-year-old, he's checked nearly every early box. High motor, strong frame, confident scoring, and defense that doesn't look like a rookie guessing. He's already turned heads. Now it's about staying consistent over the grind of a full season. Dylan Brooks started at Oregon, where he built a reputation as a tough, aggressive scorer, with just enough playmaking to keep defenses guessing. After 3 seasons, he left college with over 1,600 points and a Pac-12 Player of the Year award in his back pocket. Then came the 2017 draft, where he got taken 45th overall by Houston. Though Memphis was where his pro career actually got rolling, he stuck with the Grizzlies for several seasons, morphing into a starter and chaos engine, then made his way to Houston. Now, he's with Phoenix, and let's just say it's been a lively transition. He's scoring more so far this season, with 19.3 points per game, but the efficiency's already dipped to 37.3% from the field. Not ideal, but very on brand. Defensively, he's still causing problems for opposing wings. That perimeter, defense, and physical presence hasn't faded, and Phoenix is clearly leaning into that as they carve out his role. They're giving him heavy minutes, likely because he's been one of the more dependable defenders they've got at the wing. When it comes to rebounds and assists, he's floating around 3 per game in each category, consistent with his usual pace. He's also 29 now, deep into his career, and playing for his 3rd team in less than a decade. His resume includes almost 500 games played and a career scoring average just above 14. He's had run-ins with officials, 16 technical fouls. Last season earned him a suspension, and that reputation follows him. His shot selection still drives analysts crazy, but he's always ready to let it fly. The question this season, can the Suns survive the wild ride? RJ Barrett is off to one of his most efficient starts ever. Through his first handful of games this season, he's putting up about 20.4 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 3.4 assists a night. But what really stands out is the shooting. He's hitting over 56% from the field, which is a massive jump from last season's 46. That kind of improvement is hard to ignore, especially from a player who's always been solid but rarely efficient. He's clearly more comfortable in his role with the Raptors. The offense isn't forced through him, but when he gets the ball, he's making smart reads and better decisions. His assist numbers have dipped a little from last season, where he averaged 5.4 per game, but the scoring touch is sharper. You can see the shift in confidence. He's not just jacking up shots anymore. Last year, he played 58 games and put up over 21 points a night, so the scoring isn't new. What's new is how much better his looks are. He's getting cleaner shots, attacking with purpose, and not settling for contested jumpers. He's been in the league long enough now to understand where his strengths are, and that's showing. He's already passed 7,400 points for his career, which says something about his durability and scoring consistency. The Raptors are giving him space to play his game without overloading him, and it's working. He's not dominating headlines, but he's delivering exactly what they need. And if he keeps hitting shots at this rate, opposing defenses are going to have to start treating him like a primary scoring threat, not just a complimentary piece on the wing. Cam Thomas is back on the court and doing exactly what he does best, scoring like it's the only thing on the job description. Through the first stretch of this season, he's putting up around 23.4 points per game. That makes him the Nets' leading scorer right now, even if the efficiency has taken a hit. He's shooting about 39% from the field, which isn't ideal, but when you've got someone who gets buckets at his volume, it comes with the territory. Last season, he only got to play in 25 games before a hamstring strain shut him down, but in that short span, he averaged 24 points per game. That wasn't a fluke. The year before that, he was at 22.5. He's become a full-time starter, and there's no confusion about his role. He's out there to score. What's wild is that his contract for this season is just a one-year deal worth about $6 million. That's a bargain considering his production. And with unrestricted free agency looming, he's got every reason to keep launching. His three-point shot has hovered in the mid-30s, and while his assist numbers are around 3, playmaking isn't what he's built for. He's not putting up crazy rebound or defense stats, but that's not what Brooklyn's asking him to do. He's getting over 30 minutes a night, and even with the field goal percentage dipping, he's still getting the green light. High volume, high confidence, and no hesitation. Whether it's off movement or pull-ups, he's letting it fly. If he keeps this pace and stays healthy, that next contract's going to look a lot different. This season could be the one that changes everything for him. Jalen Suggs is looking solid after knee surgery cut last season short. Through the early stretch of games, he's putting up about 10.2 points, 4.4 assists, and 3.4 rebounds a night. What really jumps out is the shooting. He's hitting over 54% from the field and almost 89% at the line. It's a small sample, but those are career best marks so far. And he looks in rhythm despite the layoff. Before the injury, he was having a breakout year. 16.2 points per game, 4 rebounds, nearly 4 assists, and playing both ends with energy. He only got 35 games in, but it was clear he'd taken a leap. The Magic showed they believed in it too, handing him a 5-year deal worth around $150 million before this season started. That's not a let's wait and see contract. That's a you're part of the core now kind of move. Defensively, he's already proven himself. He made the all-defensive second team back in the 2023 to 2024 season, and his activity on that end hasn't dropped. He's guarding multiple positions, jumping passing lanes, and giving Orlando an edge they've needed in the backcourt. What's left is consistency. He's had stretches of strong scoring, and now that he's healthy again, the focus is keeping the production up across an entire season. Three-point shooting has been up and down over the years, but if he can stay around 35% while keeping that assist number climbing, he's going to be more than just a defensive stopper. He's already proven he can do more. It's just about putting it all together. And this year might be the one where it sticks. Christian Braun's role with Denver has taken a real leap the past 2 seasons. After being mostly a bench guy, his first 2 years, he started 77 games last season and averaged over 15 points with one of the best field goal percentages in the entire league. He hit nearly 58% from the field, and that wasn't on a tiny sample. He played almost 34 minutes a night. That's the kind of jump teams dream about with their young wings. This year, he's already started all 5 games and is playing just over 30 minutes a night. His numbers have dipped slightly. He's putting up around 11 points, nearly 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists per game, but the efficiency's still solid. Even if the three-point shooting looks rough so far, he's only hit about 18% from deep to start the year. which is a huge drop from last season's nearly 40%. But again, it's early. The Nuggets didn't wait around to bet on him. In October, they gave him a 5-year deal worth $125 million. That tells you all you need to know about how they view him in the long-term core. He's not just filling minutes. He's expected to produce, and they're paying him like a key piece. He's already got a ring from the 2023 championship run, and now he's showing that he's more than just a supporting act. His versatility as a guard or wing fits perfectly in Denver's system, especially alongside their established stars. Even if his outside shot isn't falling yet, he's still cutting, defending, and staying aggressive. That kind of energy keeps him in the rotation, and if his shooting normalizes, his impact's only going up from here. Kobe White is hurt right now, but he's gone crazy the last 2 seasons. He's gone from a streaky scorer off the bench to one of the Bulls' most reliable offensive weapons. Last season was his best yet, 20.4 points per game across 74 games, while shooting over 45% from the field and 37 from 3. That's not just progress, that's elite. His 3-point shooting has become one of his calling cards, and he's not just firing, he's hitting at volume, with efficiency that finally matches the confidence. He's always had the green light, but now it comes with purpose. His scoring isn't all flash either. He's reading defenses better, making quicker decisions, and picking his spots more effective. That career-high 44-point game against Orlando wasn't just a heat check. It was the product of a guy who knows how to run an offense and put pressure on a defense every trip down. He's also holding up physically, logging big minutes 2 years in a row. Last year, he played over 36 minutes a night, showing the coaching staff clearly trusts him to carry a heavy load. His rebounding and assist numbers are solid, not elite, but he's contributing across the board. His career averages are around 15 points, 3 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists per game over 400 games. But lately, those numbers are up across the board. The Bulls haven't been contenders, but they've leaned on Kobe more each year, and so far, he's answered. The playoff reps are still minimal, but if he keeps producing like this, that'll change. He's clearly one of the key pieces in Chicago's rebuild. Whether he stays long-term or cashes in elsewhere, he's built himself into a legit starter with real scoring punch and a role that isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Asar Thompson is finally starting to show what all that draft night hype was about. Through the first 6 games this season, he's averaging about 14 points, 7 rebounds, and over 3 assists per game. The field goal percentage is sitting around 47%, and his minutes are up, way up. Detroit's giving him real responsibility, and he's making it count. Last season, he played 59 games, started in most of them, and averaged around 10 points per game on over 53% shooting. That alone would have been enough to label him a promising young piece. But this year, he's pushing the needle even further. He's attacking more, rebounding better, and showing signs that he's not just a long-term project, he's helping right now. That's a big turnaround from his rookie season. He started strong, even made history by recording 5 blocks in his debut, but then got sidelined in March with a health scare. It took time, but he's bounced back, and now the role has grown. He's no longer just a defensive disruptor or an athletic wing with upside. He's becoming a complete player on both ends. His game logs already show flashes of what he can be. 21 points and 12 rebounds in just 27 minutes. That's not filler, that's impact. He's 6'7", defends all over the floor, and brings size and energy to a Pistons team desperate for identity. He's not going to lead the league in scoring, but he does all the things winning teams need: fast, tough, and efficient. Thompson's not just part of the rebuild anymore. If he keeps this up, he's going to be one of the reasons they start turning it around. Josh Hart had one of the most well-rounded seasons in the league last year, and it's not just the box score that shows it. He averaged over 13 points, nearly 10 rebounds, and just under 6 assists per game, all while shooting over 52% from the field. Those are serious numbers for a wing, and the fact he did it in over 37 minutes a night says the Knicks leaned on him hard, and he delivered. He racked up 9 triple-doubles, the most in Knicks history for a single season. That's not just some quirky stat, it's proof of how much ground he covers. Scoring, facilitating, crashing the glass, defending multiple spots, he does everything, even if it's not flashy. On March 25th, he dropped 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists against Dallas, checking every box like it was routine. Hart's not the kind of player who needs the ball constantly. He reads the game, fills the gaps, and does the dirty work that lets stars shine. That said, if the Knicks are going to make another playoff push, they'll want his scoring to tick back up. He showed last year that he can be a nightly triple-double threat when everything's clicking. Right now, he's one of the most valuable glue guys in the league. When his shot starts falling again, and it will, he's going to be right back in the middle of everything for New York. Sexton is quietly putting together one of his most efficient seasons yet, and now he's doing it in a new jersey. After getting traded to the Hornets before the season, he's averaging around 18.6 points and 4.5 assists while shooting a blistering 60% from the field. That number is ridiculous for a guard, especially one who isn't known for easy buckets. He's still doing it his way: mid-range pull-ups, aggressive drives, and fearless finishing. Before Charlotte, he had steady seasons with the Jazz where he averaged close to 18 points per game in back-to-back years. The shooting improved every season too. He hit over 40% from 3 last year. That's a far cry from the high-volume, low-efficiency style that followed him early in his career. His rookie year with Cleveland was solid, but it didn't take long for him to become a 20-plus point scorer. Then came the knee injury in 2021, and things shifted fast. Cleveland moved on, and he was sent to Utah as part of the Donovan Mitchell deal. That trade gave him a reset. He didn't get 35 minutes a night anymore, but his efficiency jumped. And now with Charlotte, he's combining both volume and efficiency. He's still not a true point guard, but the assists are trending up. His playmaking is cleaner, and he's showing better control of the offense without giving up his scoring mentality. At 6'1", he's not the biggest guard out there, and defense has never been his calling card, but you can't ignore what he's doing on the offensive end. He's aggressive, fast, and now efficient. If he stays healthy and keeps this up, Charlotte may have landed a legit go-to scorer in the middle of their rebuild. Trey Murphy had a breakout season last year, and it wasn't quiet. He averaged over 21 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists per game while shooting 45% from the field. That kind of leap doesn't happen by accident. He earned it with size, confidence, and lights-out range. But this season, it's been a bit of a slow start. Through 6 games, he's putting up about 13.6 points per game, with nearly 7 rebounds and close to 4 assists. The volume is still there, but the efficiency has taken a hit, with his field goal percentage sitting around 36. He's coming off a serious shoulder injury, so a few bumps early on aren't shocking. That labrum tear from last season sidelined him for a good chunk of games, so shaking off rust was always going to be part of the process. Still, for someone with a new contract worth over $112 million, expectations are higher. The Pelicans clearly see him as one of their core guys, and his role reflects that. He's not just spotting up anymore. He's making plays, attacking closeouts, and handling more offense than ever before. His three-point shooting remains one of the most dangerous parts of his game. He's had plenty of nights with 5 or more made threes, and defenses don't give him much breathing room. He stretches the floor, which helps unlock space for everyone else around him. Even when the shot isn't falling, he's crashing the boards and making smart passes. Murphy's versatility is what makes him valuable. He's long, athletic, and not afraid to guard up or down. Once that jumper starts falling consistently again, he's going to remind everybody why he looked like one of the best young wings in the league last season. Kristaps is now in Atlanta, adding another chapter to a career that's already seen 5 different teams. He's averaging around 17.7 points, over 6 rebounds, and more than 3 assists per game in the early stretch with the Hawks. The field goal percentage is around 47, which is solid, and his role has clearly shifted into more of a veteran big who can still space the floor and offer rim protection when needed. Last year with Boston, he played a key role in helping them win a title, averaging about 19.5 points and nearly 7 rebounds per game. But health has always been the thing with him. He's had multiple seasons where he's played fewer than 60 games, and the ACL tear back in 2018 still hovers over every conversation about his durability. Even last offseason, he dealt with a rare leg injury that required surgery and put his status in question coming into this year. When healthy, though, he's a serious matchup problem. He's 7'2", shoots threes like a wing, and can still block shots at a high level. Earlier in his career, he was seen as a franchise cornerstone in New York. Then came the trade to Dallas, followed by a stint in Washington and finally Boston, where he got the ring. Now in Atlanta, he's not being asked to carry the scoring load, but to complement the roster with his shooting, rebounding, and experience. He's making over $30 million this season and has earned more than $200 million in his career. So expectations come with that paycheck. The Hawks are hoping they get the version of Kristaps who spaces the floor, protects the paint, and stays available. That last part may be the biggest variable of all. Norman Powell is quietly putting together one of the most productive stretches of his career. Now with the Miami Heat, following a July 2025 trade, he is averaging approximately 24 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 3 assists per game through the early portion of the season. This follows a career best year in 2024-25 when he averaged about 21.8 points per game with the Los Angeles Clippers. Powell entered the NBA in 2015 as a second-round pick and began his career with the Toronto Raptors. Early on, he was a bench contributor, known for his energy and defense. He played a supporting role during Toronto's 2019 championship run. Over time, especially in later stints with the Portland Trail Blazers and Clippers, he developed into a high-efficiency scoring guard capable of carrying heavier offensive loads. In 2024-25, he posted a field goal percentage of roughly 48.4%, and he has started the current season around 47.7%. Powell's shooting efficiency remains one of his strengths, particularly from three-point range and when attacking the basket. In addition to his scoring, his rebounding has noticeably improved, averaging over 7 rebounds per game to begin the 2025-26 season. Moving to a new team means adjusting to new systems and rotations, but early signs suggest Powell is continuing to thrive. His offensive role in Miami appears to be significant, and his scoring numbers reflect that. After years of being seen as a role player or six-man, he has transitioned into a reliable scoring option and veteran presence. His rise from second-round pick to high-level contributor marks a notable evolution in his NBA journey. Chris Middleton's run with the Bucks is now fully in the rearview. Now with Washington, he's settling into a new role as a high-paid veteran on a rebuilding squad. Through the early games of this season, he's averaging about 11.3 points, 4.5 rebounds, and just over 2 assists per night. He's shooting efficiently, around 48% from the field, but he's not being asked to carry much of the offensive load. His best years were clearly in Milwaukee. He was a 3-time All-Star, a clutch shot maker, and the second option behind Giannis during their title run in 2021. In the finals that year, he averaged 24 points, over 6 rebounds, and more than 5 assists per game. He was that guy, balanced, reliable, and tough in big moments. But injuries have caught up. His scoring and usage have both dipped the past couple seasons. And at age 34, his game is more about efficiency than volume. He exercised his player option for this year, locking in about $33 million, and the Bucks used that opportunity to pivot, trading him to the Wizards for Kyle Kuzma in a move that had more to do with cap flexibility than basketball legacy. Washington isn't looking for Middleton to turn back the clock. He's here to stabilize things, provide leadership, and give them clean offense in fewer minutes. He's still got that smooth mid-range jumper and can punish mismatches, but his days as a nightly 20-point scorer look done. Even so, his resume speaks for itself. Over 780 games, 16 points per game average, a championship ring, and deep playoff experience. Now it's about making the most of what's left and helping younger players learn how to do it the right way. Peyton. Pritchard's coming off a season that turned a whole lot of heads. 14.3 points a night, over 47% shooting, and the guy didn't miss a beat in 80 games. He locked in, caught fire from deep, and left the bench unit looking a lot more dangerous than anyone expected. That 6th Man of the Year trophy wasn't just a random nod. It was earned with consistency, volume, and serious shooting numbers. Now, he's pushing even more. 14.6 points so far, and that assist number climbing to 5.6 shows. He's not just looking for his own shot in it. There's a real shift here. The scoring's steady, but the playmaking jump is what really stands out. He's getting more responsibility, and he's not just jogging out there for cardio. He's moving the ball, running sets, and creating momentum. But there's a bit of a dip in efficiency, around 41% from the field right now, which is a slide from last season's mark. Still, that's not shocking when the role changes and the usage ticks up. He's not exactly hiding in the corners anymore. What's wild is he set a league record for most threes by a reserve in a season, 246. That's not just volume, that's pure trust from the team. They gave him the green light, and he turned that into hardware and highlight reels. The contract set, 4 years fully guaranteed. so the Celtics are clearly betting on his development. Whether he stays a bench anchor or slips into a bigger role depends on how long he keeps those assist numbers climbing while cleaning up that shooting clip. Zubac has turned into exactly the kind of center you don't have to worry about. At 7 feet and 240 pounds, he's a classic low post anchor, and lately, he's been delivering on both ends without needing any spotlight. Last season, he played every single game, dropped 16.8 points a night, grabbed 12.6 boards, and even threw in 2.7 assists. That field goal percentage, over 62%. Basically, if he touched the ball near the basket, it was going in. Now he's cruising through this season with about 15.2 points and 8.6 rebounds, while shooting close to 65%. That's ridiculous efficiency for a starter, and he's not even the focal point of the offense. He's just quietly outworking people in the paint and crashing the glass like a pro. He also earned his first all-defensive second-team nod last season, which makes total sense if you've watched him close games. He's not out there blocking 10 shots a night or anything, but he's always in the right spot, contesting at the rim and eating up space. He doesn't chase highlight plays, he just shuts things down. Zubac's been the Clippers' starting center since 2019, and he hasn't budged. They've trusted him with steady minutes, and he's used them to become one of the most efficient bigs in the league. No major injuries, no drama, just constant production. He's 28 now and squarely in his prime. His role hasn't changed much, but his impact's grown every year. If you're tracking consistent players who show up and get things done, Zubac belongs on that list. You don't need flash when you've got that kind of reliability inside. Desmond Bane has landed in Orlando, and it's already a different kind of challenge. After years in Memphis, where he became one of their main scoring threats, he's adjusting to a whole new system. Last season, he put up 19.2 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 5.3 assists over 69 games. That wasn't just good, that was his most complete season yet. The guy filled up every column while keeping his field goal percentage close to 48%. He also recorded his first triple-double in March, dropping 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. That stat line wasn't just a fluke. It showed what happens when he gets rolling on all fronts. And let's not forget the three-point shooting. He stayed around 40.8% for his career, which makes him one of the more reliable shooters at his position. So far in Orlando, things are a little quieter. He's averaging 14.6 points, 4 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. But that efficiency has taken a hit, sitting at around 41.9%. New team, new spacing, new rhythm. It's not a surprise. He's playing with a different core, and finding that groove takes more than a few games. The trade from Memphis was a big one. Multiple picks involved, which tells you what Orlando thinks of him. They're not bringing him in as some role player. He's locked into a massive 5-year contract and expected to be a central piece moving forward. That makes this season important. He's already shown he can score, pass, and rebound. Now it's about finding that same output while adjusting to a team that's clearly trying to build something around him. Zachary Richer came into the league with the pressure dialed up. First overall pick, international hype, and all eyes on Atlanta. But instead of crashing into the league trying to be a superstar from day one, he's just been solid. During his rookie season, he played 75 games, started 73 of them, and averaged about 12.6 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 1.2 assists, while shooting nearly 46% from the field and over 35% from deep. That's not a rookie flailing around. That's a guy who already knows how to fit in. His role was pretty clear. Space the floor, defend the wing, hit open shots. He's not out here trying to cook defenders off the dribble like a flashy ISO guy. But when he's set up, he delivers. That catch and shoot game is smooth, and he moves well without the ball. He's not dominating the ball or taking wild shots. He's just playing smart basketball. He's been hurt most of this season so far, so we'll see what happens. Being the first pick comes with expectations, but Richer's showing that you can build a career by doing the right things early, hitting your shots, playing defense, and staying consistent. He's not a volume scorer yet, but he's earned his spot in the starting lineup and is giving the Hawks exactly what they expected, a reliable young wing who understands his job. Jared McCain didn't need much time to show he could score in the league. In just 23 games before injury cut his rookie year short, he was dropping 15.3 points a night while shooting over 38% from deep. He even had a 34-point, 10-assist night, which for a rookie guard is a pretty loud way to say, hey, I belong here. His shot was consistent. His rhythm looked smooth. And he wasn't afraid to take big shots early in games. Before the league, he spent just one season at Duke, but it was enough. He started all 36 games, knocked down threes at over 41%, and set the school record for most triples by a freshman in a game. Then came the draft, 16th overall to the Sixers, and it looked like a steal right away. He started off fast, earned Rookie of the Month, and brought instant shooting to their backcourt. Then came the knee injury, torn meniscus, season over in December. That stopped all that early momentum cold, but the Sixers didn't blink. They picked up his third-year option anyway, showing they're still sold on what he brings. He's back practicing, working his way back, and once he's fully healthy, the expectations will follow. McCain's not just a shooter. He's shown scoring, some playmaking, and a high free throw percentage that backs up his shooting touch. But this next stretch matters. Can he stay healthy? Can he handle a bigger role? Those answers are coming. For now, what we've seen is a young guard with a quick scoring burst, efficient shooting, and enough flashes to make you want to see a whole season's worth. The Sixers clearly do. Cooper Flagg rolled into the NBA with more hype than a holiday parade float. But unlike the float, he's actually doing something out there. The Mavericks took him first overall in the 2025 draft after he wrecked college basketball for one season at Duke. That year, 19.2 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and he shot close to 49%. Also threw in some steals and blocks just to make sure opponents didn't get too comfortable. He even dropped 42 in a game like it was light work. Now he's wearing a Dallas jersey and already putting up around 14 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 3 assists in the early going. Not bad for someone who's still adjusting to NBA speed. He's 6'9" with a wingspan that makes passing lanes look like tightrope walk. He covers ground fast, crashes the glass, and defends all over the place. He's not just long, he knows how to use it. He's showing flashes of everything. Transition buckets, threes with space, blocks off the weak side, and hustle plays that don't show up in the box score. There's still development needed, especially on the physical side. Ryan Rollins has finally kicked the door open. After flying under the radar last season with 6.2 points in limited minutes, he's now averaging 18.2 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. And he's doing it while shooting nearly 54% from the field and 40% from three. That's not a small jump. That's a completely different player. The Bucks clearly saw this coming. They signed him to a 3-year deal worth around $12 million back in July, and now that move looks sharp. Rollins has rewarded that trust with back-to-back breakout performances, first putting up 25 against New York, and then lighting up Golden State for 32 points and 8 assists. He's not just getting buckets, he's doing it efficiently and running offense through him without breaking rhythm. The assist numbers say a lot too. He's gone from a low-usage bench scorer to someone who's creating for others while still getting his own shots. That 5.5 assists per game isn't window dressing. It shows he's reading the floor better and playing within the system while still finding space to be aggressive. There's also something to be said about how smoothly he's handling this new role. Some guys disappear when minutes go up. Rollins, he looks like he's been waiting for it. The shot selection's smart, he's picking his moments, and the confidence is obvious. The Bucks rotation needed a jolt, and Rollins is giving them exactly that. What started as a quiet second-round story is quickly becoming one of the most unexpected early season developments. He's gone from fringe to featured, and if he keeps this pace, he won't be sneaking up on anyone much longer. Jalen Green's run with Houston ended after 4 seasons, and now he's wearing a Suns jersey with a completely different outlook. That trade over the summer? Massive. Phoenix moved Kevin Durant, and Green became one of the key returns in a 7-team deal. It was a full reset moment, and for Green, a chance to reframe what kind of player he wants to be. He averaged 21 points last season with 4.6 rebounds and 3.4 assists, playing all 82 games. That kind of consistency matters, especially when you're logging over 6,000 points by year 4. His job, score, shoot, and fit alongside the star power in Phoenix's backcourt. The speed and shot creation are his calling card, and he's got bounce that few guards can match. Efficiency is still the knock. Last year, he shot around 42% from the field and 35% from deep. Not bad, but not elite either. That's been the story for a while now. Big scoring totals, flashy drives, but streaky results. On defense, the effort has to go up if he's going to keep a major role. The good news? He's under contract through at least 2027 and making over $33 million this season. The Suns didn't trade for him to be average. They're betting that with structure, talent around him, and a clear role, He can go from highlight machine to dependable contributor. Now it's just about getting back on the floor. Fred VanVleet has been through just about everything in the league. Undrafted, champion, franchise record holder, and now he's facing maybe his toughest chapter yet. The Rockets gave him a 2-year deal worth $50 million this summer, but just weeks before the season tipped off, he tore his ACL. That's likely to keep him sidelined for most, if not all, of the year. Tough break for a guy who's been one of the league's most reliable floor generals over the last decade. Last season, he averaged 14.1 points, 5.6 assists, and 3.7 rebounds across 60 games. The shooting wasn't exactly blazing, around 37.8% from the field and 34.5% from three. But he was still logging over 35 minutes a night and leading the backcourt. Then in the playoffs, he ramped things up to nearly 19 points per game across 7 contests. That kind of uptick under pressure isn't new for him. He still holds multiple Raptors franchise records from his time in Toronto, including total points and assists. Not bad for someone no one drafted. He's averaged just under 15 points and nearly 6 assists for his career, showing up every year with consistency and control. Now, with the ACL injury, he shifts into a different kind of role. The veteran presence, the off-court leader, and maybe the mentor for whoever steps into that starting spot. With the Rockets bringing in new talent and reshaping the roster, VanVleet's voice could still matter, even if he's not suiting up. His leadership's been proven, his playoff production is real, and once he's healthy, he's still got the game to contribute. Until then, it's about recovery and impact from the sideline. Klay Thompson's not the guy who's going to give you 30 every night anymore. And honestly, that's not the point. At 35, he's in a different lane now, playing for the Mavericks, spacing the floor, keeping defenders honest, and quietly dropping jumpers in rhythm like it's still 2015. Last season in Dallas, he averaged 14 points over 72 games while shooting just over 41%. That was a dip from his career numbers, but the role has changed, and so has the context. He spent over a decade with Golden State, won 4 championships, made 5 All-Star teams, and became one half of the Splash Bros, redefining how teams think about shooting. But after back-to-back season-ending injuries, first an ACL, then an Achilles, things shifted. He missed 2 full years and came back as a different version of himself. Still dangerous, just more calculated. So far this season, the early numbers are down again. He's averaging under 9 points per game, and his minutes are down too. That's part age, part system, and part reality. He's not carrying the offense. He's fitting into it. His movement's still elite, his footwork sharp, and his shot can still change momentum. You can't leave him open because the form hasn't changed, even if the volume has. The Mavericks didn't bring him in to be prime Klay. They brought him in to bring gravity, leadership, and poise. He's the vet now, not the star of the show, but a guy every defender has to account for. And when he gets hot, that release still looks exactly the same. Fewer fireworks, more control. It's the kind of evolution that lets a shooter stick around and still matter. Walker Kessler was off to the best start of his career, and then the season ended 5 games in. He tore the labrum in his left shoulder, and now he's out for the rest of the year. Surgery's already scheduled, and just like that, his momentum slammed to a halt. He was averaging 14.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1.8 blocks per game, while shooting over 70% from the field in 5 games. That's not a flash. That was a full-on glow-up. This wasn't just any season either. He didn't sign a rookie extension before the deadline, so he's heading into restricted free agency with a whole lot of question marks. That strong early stretch could have set the table for a breakout year and a payday. Now teams are left weighing upside against injury recovery, and the Jazz have to adjust without their defensive anchor. He'd built a clear identity in Utah's frontcourt: rim protection, rebounding, efficiency. The defense was built around his presence inside, and his ability to contest shots without fouling gave Utah real structure. Now, the rotation takes a hit, the system gets tweaked, and development minutes are about to get handed out, whether the roster's ready or not. This one stings, not just for the Jazz, but for Kessler himself. His game was rounding out, his production was climbing, and the consistency was showing. Now it's a season of rehab and what ifs. But with the numbers he posted before the injury and what he's already shown in earlier seasons, he'll still draw attention come off season. Until then, the stat sheet stays frozen, and the next chapter gets put on hold. Mitchell Robinson is still holding down the paint in New York, but it's been a rocky ride. He started this season coming off ankle surgery, and so far, the Knicks have been careful with his minutes. Through one early appearance, he played 20 minutes, grabbed 11 rebounds, and scored 6 points on 67% shooting. Nothing flashy, just the usual Mitchell Robinson routine: clean up inside, grab boards, and finish around the rim. That's been the story since he entered the league in 2018 as the 36th pick. No college ball, no glitz, just rim protection and elite efficiency. Over his career, he's averaged around 7.8 points and 7.8 rebounds per game, while hovering near 70% shooting from the field. In 2021, he even posted a franchise-best field goal percentage of 76.1. He doesn't take bad shots because he doesn't take many shots at all, just dunks and putbacks. But injuries have followed him. The left ankle has been a recurring issue, and this year the Knicks are easing him back in. His role isn't as locked in as it used to be. Some games he's in the mix. Other times it's injury management. There's even been some chatter about using him in a two-center lineup with Karl Anthony Towns, which would be a spacing experiment, for sure. The one area that still haunts him? Free throws. Opponents love to send him to the line. And with a career mark hovering around 52%, it's a strategy that works. But even with those flaws, he gives New York size, interior defense, and second chance opportunities, all without needing the ball in his hands for more than 2 seconds. Even with that though, he's still the best offensive rebounder in the league. Cam Johnson's 2025 season was the best of his career, and it came at the perfect time. He averaged 18.8 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game, while shooting nearly 48% from the field. That breakout put him firmly on the map, and by July of 2025, the Brooklyn Nets moved him in a high-profile trade to Denver, exchanging him for Michael Porter Jr. and a future first-round pick. At 6 feet 8 inches, Johnson fits the mold of a modern NBA wing, a true floor spacer with size, length, and a reliable three-point shot. His efficiency plus versatility made him one of the most valuable wing options on the market. His role expanded with Brooklyn last season, and he responded with career-best production, showing he can do more than just spot up. He also contributes on the glass, passes well, and creates offense in secondary actions. Now with the Denver Nuggets, Johnson joins a championship-caliber roster, but that means his role likely changes. He will not need to score 18 points per night. Instead, he will be asked to defend, knock down open shots, and complement Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Whether he sustains that level of impact in a reduced role is one of the key questions of the 2026 season. Jordan Poole started as the 28th pick in the draft, and now he's on his third team, the New Orleans Pelicans. He's 6'4", 194 pounds, and plays as a scoring guard who's leaned heavier into being a lead creator than a pure shooter. After a pretty up and down run with the Wizards, he's got a fresh chance to make it stick in New Orleans. He averaged about 20.5 points last season, but so far, this season he's floating around 19.8. The dip's not huge, but the efficiency has taken a hit, with that field goal percentage sitting around 40.5. That's where the eyebrows go up, because when you're paid over $31 million and you're expected to help carry a team offensively, the numbers matter. The guy can score, that's never been in question. Pull-up threes, driving floaters, tough step backs, all there. But the efficiency roller coaster is real. One night, he looks like a 25-point threat. The next night, it's a shot chart full of frustration. He's not out there to play defense first or run set after set. He's out there to score and keep pressure on opposing defenses. After his championship stint with Golden State and the high-usage stretch in Washington, the season feels like a crossroad. He's got a solid role in New Orleans. No superstar crowding his lane, and a contract that'll keep him locked in for a while. Now it's about showing he can score consistently without chucking the Pelicans out of games. The shot volume's fine, the touches are there. It's just about putting it all together without fading every third game. Andrew Nembhard opened the season with a role that looked locked in. Steady minutes, ball handling duties, and that classic combo guard responsibility to make smart decisions. But that left shoulder had other plans. He got hurt in the opener after just 17 minutes, and he's been sidelined since. It's the kind of early season wrinkle that can slow momentum, especially for someone who was coming off a strong playoff showing. Last postseason, he played 19 games and averaged around 12.5 points, nearly 5 assists, and over 3 rebounds. That stretch gave him a boost heading into this season, especially since he started all 65 games he played in last year. He put up 10 points per game on solid efficiency, shooting about 45.8% from the field. It wasn't loud, but it was reliable. He's not the first guy you think of when highlight reels are mentioned, but he's always making the smart pass, rotating on defense, and doing things that keep a possession alive. His three-point shooting still needs work. Last season, he shot just under 30% from beyond the arc, but everywhere else, he's been trending up. The Pacers leaned on him to stabilize their offense, and his 5 assists per game last year reflect that trust. When he's healthy, he's not just filling minutes, he's actually setting the tone for stretches of games. He doesn't need to score 20 to impact a win, which makes him valuable even when the shot isn't falling. Right now, the big focus is getting back from that shoulder issue. Once he's back on the floor, it'll be worth watching, whether he picks up right where he left off or if that injury slows the rhythm he built across his first few seasons. Stephon Castle walked into the league as the 4th overall pick and did exactly what top picks are supposed to do: produce. In his rookie season, he played in 81 games, started 47 of them, and put up nearly 15 points, over 4 assists, and close to 4 rebounds a night. He took home Rookie of the Year, won MVP at the Rising Stars Challenge, and racked up multiple Rookie of the Month awards. So yeah, not exactly blending in. Now in his second season, he's expected to be a major piece in San Antonio, and so far that's tracking. He's still playing big minutes and has shown flashes of taking over playmaking duties, especially when the backcourt thins out due to injuries. In preseason, he even threw down a stat line with 16 points, 9 assists, and just 1 turnover, which doesn't happen by accident. The biggest knock is still the three-point shot. He shot around 28% from deep as a rookie, and that's going to need to go up if he wants to be more than just a slasher and playmaker. The mid-range game's not bad, and he gets downhill well, but that outside shot's going to follow him around until it improves. He brings size and defense at 6'6", 215 pounds, and you can plug him into multiple roles. That's why the Spurs like him next to Wemby. Castle's not just filling a spot, he's helping shape the identity of the team. He defends, he passes, and he's fearless going to the rim. If the shot comes along and the decision-making keeps climbing, it's going to be hard to keep him from being the number 2 guy in San Antonio's long-term plan. Harris is in that veteran zone now. Over a decade in the league, almost 1,000 games, and currently back in a Pistons jersey trying to stay effective, while everything around him gets younger and faster. He averaged about 13.7 points last season with Detroit, grabbed nearly 6 rebounds a night, and shot just under 48% from the field. That's respectable production, especially on a team that's more focused on future pieces than the current standard. This season, though, he started off a little colder. Through 6 games, he's averaging around 13.5 points, 6 rebounds, and close to 3 assists, but he's only shooting in about 39.4% from the field. That's not ideal for someone who's usually leaned on for his efficiency inside the arc. Whether it's adjusting to a slightly different role or just an early slump, that number's worth watching. He's not the number 1 option anymore, not even close, but his size, experience, and ability to play both forward spots still give him some value, especially for a team trying to build structure around young talent. His career numbers tell the story of a consistent, double-digit scorer who's been counted on for versatility and toughness more than flash. At 33, the shift from primary scorer to veteran presence is fully underway. He's no longer being asked to carry the offense, but rather to stabilize. If the efficiency bounces back and he embraces the off-ball role, there's still room for him to be a meaningful piece. But if the shot stays cold and the legs slow down, Detroit might look harder at giving more touches to the next wave of talent waiting behind him. Andrew Wiggins has now entered that part of his career where he's not the first option, or not the young talent, but still very much a fact. After the trade to Miami back in February, he's been operating as a starting wing, logging minutes, and continuing to do what he's done since Golden State, contribute on both ends without making a ton of noise. In the early part of this season, he's averaging about 16.4 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. That's a slight dip from last year when he finished with 18 points, 4.5 boards, and just over 2.5 assists. His shooting last season was sitting around 44.8%, and while that efficiency was solid, the volume scoring was starting to taper off. That's not unusual as roles change. Miami's system asks him to score, but also to fit in around other primary creators, so the ball doesn't stick with him the way it used to back in Minnesota. Still, he's had some big moments. That 42-point outburst in March showed he can still catch fire when the match gets struck. He's not asked to do that every night, but knowing it's still in the bag matters. Defensively, Wiggins continues to be a plus on the wing. He's not just here to score. He's a veteran now, which means plugging gaps, staying locked in on defense, and not taking possessions off. His role's evolved, but he's adapted pretty well. The numbers are stable, the minutes are there, and the expectations are now more about consistency than stardom. For a team like Miami, he brings value that doesn't always show up in the box score, and that's exactly why they brought him in. Michael Porter Jr. is off to one of his best starts, and the change of scenery might be a big reason why. Since being traded to Brooklyn this past summer, he stepped into a bigger role and answered with production that's hard to ignore. Through the early part of this season, he's averaging around 21.6 points, 6.2 rebounds, and over 3 assists per game, shooting over 50% from the field. That efficiency, paired with volume, puts him in rare company among forwards. Right now, last season with Denver, he averaged 18.2 points and 7 rebounds, while shooting about 50.4%. That was already solid, but now, with more touches in Brooklyn, he's proving he can carry a larger offensive load without sacrificing shot quality. And let's be honest, when a 6'10" forward shoots close to 40% from 3, you're dealing with a matchup nightmare. He's always had the tools, size, shooting, and the ability to rebound. But this is the first time he's really getting the freedom to operate like a primary option. The question now is whether he can keep this pace over the course of the season. So far, it's looking good. The ball's in his hands more, and his assist numbers have crept up to around 3 per game, showing growth in playmaking too. What Brooklyn's betting on is that this version of Porter isn't just a hot start, it's a leap. If he stays healthy and keeps this up, he won't just be Brooklyn's top scorer, he'll be one of the most dangerous forwards in the league. All signs say he's trending exactly where they hoped when they made the deal. Bradley Beal has officially entered the veteran phase of his career, and the Clippers are hoping it comes with value, not just mileage. After a forgettable run with the Suns that ended in a buyout, he signed a 2-year deal with Los Angeles, shifting from primary scorer to complementary piece on a contender. That transition is real, and so far, it looks like he's settling into it without forcing anything. Last season with Phoenix, he averaged around 17 points, over 3 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists across 53 games. It wasn't terrible, but it was clear the fit never clicked the way anyone hoped. Now with the Clippers, he's not expected to carry the offense, and that's a good thing. He's here to hit shots, give veteran minutes, and hopefully stay healthy, which hasn't been easy. He hasn't cracked 60 games played in a season since the 2021 campaign, but the skill set's still there. Beal can create off the bounce, hit tough mid-range shots, and stretch the floor. The athleticism may not pop like it used to, but the jumper's still smooth, and his feel for the game is sharp. He's averaged over 21 points per game across his career, and even had a season where he dropped over 30 per night. That version isn't what the Clippers need right now. What they need is a steady hand, and someone who could slide in next to other stars without disrupting the rhythm. Beal's efficiency and durability will be under the microscope all year. If he finds a groove in the system, he can still swing games, not as the top option, but as the kind of guy you trust with a big shot when it matters. Devin Vassell is right in the middle of that next step zone. Not a breakout star yet, but definitely not just a role player anymore. Last season, he put up around 16.3 points, 4 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists per game in 64 appearances. He shot about 44% from the field, which isn't elite, but with his shot profile and usage, it's enough to keep defenses honest. And the Spurs clearly believe in him. They handed him a 5-year extension worth $146 million. That's not side character money. This season, he's averaging about 14.7 points, 4.3 rebounds, and a little over 2 assists through the early stretch. It's not a huge leap, but the signs are there. He's getting touches, taking tough shots, and spacing the floor for a team that's still figuring out its identity. And while his scoring hasn't exploded, his role as a two-way wing is still a big deal. He's already hit over 453s in under 300 games, a mark no Spur has ever reached that fast. Vassell's got that 6'5" frame that lets him guard wings and smaller guards, and he moves well off the ball. The defensive tools are there, but he's still learning how to make those possessions matter consistently. Offensively, it's about polishing the shot selection, tightening his handle, and proving he can be a guy you count on to close quarters or hit timely threes. He's got the contract, the reps, and the green light. Now it's just about whether he can take that solid production and stretch it into something bigger. Herb Jones has made a name for himself without ever needing to dominate the scoreboard. He's a 6'7" forward with defensive instincts that make coaches sleep better at night. After earning all-defensive first-team honors in 2024, the Pelicans locked him up with a 3-year extension worth around $68 million. That move alone tells you how the team views him, not as a flashy scorer, but as one of their most trusted two-way guys. Last season was a mixed bag. He started strong, but only played 20 games before a shoulder injury ended his season early. He averaged about 10.3 points, 4 rebounds, and just over 2 assists, shooting around 43%. The numbers didn't jump out, but the impact was always there in how he defended and filled in the gaps. Now, early in 2025-26, he's averaging around 9.3 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in about 27 minutes a game, but his field goal percentage is down near 39%. Still, that role hasn't changed much. He's out there guarding wings, switching on to guards, and doing all the things that make him such a valuable piece without needing the ball constantly. He's not your volume shooter, and he's not going to take 20 shots a night, but he's the type of player who helps win games by making things hard for everyone else. The scoring's modest, the efficiency's dipped a bit post-injury, but the trust is there. The Pelicans still lean on him, and that new deal shows it. If the shot starts falling again and he stays healthy, he's going to be one of those glue guys every playoff team wishes they had in the lineup. Kyle Kuzma is now in a phase of his career where the spotlight's not on him, but he's still out there, doing his thing. After joining the Milwaukee Bucks, his role shifted into more of a support piece than lead scorer. He came off the bench to open this season, and so far, he's averaging around 11.4 points, 4.2 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists per game. That's a drop in volume, but oddly enough, his efficiency is up. He's shooting around 55% from the field. Last season with the Bucks, he averaged about 14.8 points, 5.7 rebounds, and just over 2 assists across 65 games. The field goal percentage then was closer to 43%. So the early bump this year suggests he's being more selective or just playing within tighter minutes. The big story though might be the playoffs. He really struggled last postseason, just under 6 points per game, poor shooting, and limited impact over 5 games. It raised questions about what his best role is on a team with championship aspirations. He's proven before he can score in the mid to high teens, and he even has a ring from the Lakers' 2020 title run. But in Milwaukee, he's not the focus. He's more like a veteran utility forward, filling in where needed. The size and skill set are still there. He can rebound, stretch the floor a bit, and slide between the forward spots depending on matchups. The key now is consistency, being able to bring value even when he's not taking 15 shots. If he can stay efficient and accept that shifting role, there's still space for him on a contending team. But those days, as a featured scorer, they might be in the rearview mirror. Lonzo Ball's career has taken one of the more dramatic turns in recent memory. Once hyped as a franchise-altering point guard, he now finds himself with the Cleveland Cavaliers in a role that's miles away from what people expected when he was drafted. Second overall, after missing long stretches of multiple seasons due to chronic knee issues, including surgeries that had him off the court for over a year, he's back, but with clear limitation. In his final season with Chicago, he played 35 games and averaged just under 8 points, a little over 3 rebounds and 3 assists per game, shooting around 36%. Now, in his first few games with Cleveland, he's averaging about 5.8 points, 4.3 rebounds, and over 5 assists in roughly 24 minutes a night. He's backing up Darius Garland, which takes pressure off and lets him focus on facilitating, defending, and just staying healthy. His playmaking hasn't disappeared. He still sees the floor well and defends multiple positions. He was one of the only players in league history to average over 6 rebounds and 6 assists as a 20-year-old. But those days feel distant now. The shot is still shaky, and the explosiveness is muted. His three-point shot has hovered around 36% over his career, but his field goal percentage remains under 40. The trade to Cleveland might end up being a career extender, giving him fewer responsibilities and more structure. He's no longer the focal point, but he doesn't need to be. The Cavs are giving him a lane to contribute, even if it's not the one that was originally mapped out. The big question now is durability, not potential. Modest Buzelis is starting to look like one of those second-year players ready to make noise. After a decent rookie season, where he averaged about 8.6 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 1 assist per game, he's already flashing signs of a jump in year 2. Early in the season, he posted a line with 21 points and 6 boards in a single outing. And while it's a small sample, it shows he's not easing into things. His rookie numbers came across 80 games with 31 starts, shooting around 45% from the field and a solid 36% from deep. Those are respectable for a young forward, finding his spot, especially one who skipped college and came in through the G League. He's 6'10", 209 pounds, and plays like a wing, not a big. That size with his handle and shooting touch gives him a modern feel that teams love. Chicago's clearly giving him a longer leash now. He's not just spotting up in the corner anymore. He's moving with the ball, reading space, and showing more confidence, attacking mismatch. He's still developing physically, and you can tell there's room to grow with strength and endurance, but he's not getting pushed around as much as he did last year. If the scoring keeps trending up and he keeps hitting that three at a decent clip, he's going to carve out a real role fast. He doesn't need to be the number one option, but as a two-way piece with length and touch, there's value here. It's too early to say breakout, but the arrow's pointing up, and that second-year leap might not be a myth in his case. Jaden Ivey was on track for a breakout season in 2024-25 before injuries cut it short. Through 30 games, he averaged 17.6 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 4.0 assists per game, while shooting an impressive 46% from the field and nearly 41% from three. It was his most efficient stretch in the league, showing real growth in shot selection and offensive polish. But then came the setbacks. On January 1st, he suffered a broken left fibula in a game against Orlando, ending his season. Months later, just before the 2025-26 campaign began, Ivey underwent arthroscopic surgery on his right knee to relieve discomfort unrelated to the leg injury and was ruled out for at least 4 weeks. Now in his fourth NBA season, Ivey remains a central piece of Detroit's rebuild, expected to form a dynamic backcourt with Cade Cunningham. His scoring burst, improved three-point shooting, and downhill speed have all flashed when he's healthy. And before the injuries, he was producing at the highest level of his young career. This season is pivotal. He's in the final year of his rookie contract, and Detroit will be watching closely to see how he returns. If he can regain his pre-injury form, Ivey still has the trajectory of a high-level starting guard. But if health remains a recurring obstacle, the conversation may start to shift from breakout potential to what if. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.